Chapter 1381. Vice Valley Lord, what did you feed them just now? The shopkeeper asked curiously. A poison that makes them weak all over and have no strength to commit suicide. Sima Yuyue said, take these people to the backyard, I want to interrogate them personally. Okay. The shopkeeper went out, a few waiters came up quickly, each of them carried 2 people and flew out of the window, directly to the backyard. Although those people wanted to call for help, they couldn't make a sound, so they could only be taken away. Get someone to clean up this place. Sima Yuyue said, gave up on the main door, and flew down from the window with Bei Gong Tang. These people's words reminded her that she didn't appear for a few years, others thought she was missing, so they started to stir. Since this was the case, she wouldn't appear, the enemy was in the light while she was in the dark. Want to deal with Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley? Then it depends on who is dealing with who. Bring them in. Sima Yuyue ordered, a few waiters immediately brought those people into the courtyard. Sima Lu Xian and Sima Lai were still talking about her past. When they saw her bringing a group of people in with the waiters, they were surprised. Yuyue, what's going on? Just throw them in the courtyard. The waiters threw them all in the courtyard, then retreated. The logo on their clothes, are they from Cloud Cave? Sima Yulin thought of those people in Little Realm of Wenhai. That's right. Sima Yuyue took out a few pills and gave them to each of them. This pill could alleviate the toxicity of the previous poison, so that they could at least have the strength to speak. Sima Yuyue. I didn't expect you to come back. The person who was called the boss saw Sima Yuyue, his eyes flashed with hatred and regret. If they knew, they wouldn't have come here to eat. Thinking of this, he glared at his subordinates. They were the ones who wanted to come here to eat, saying that it would be fine with the spirit barrier. In the end, they were all caught. His subordinates were also very loyal. They used to go to other memory restaurant to eat, but this never happened. How could he be so unlucky to meet Sima Yuyue here? The others did not expect that Sima Yuyue would capture the people of the Cloud Cave when she went out. He had no idea why she had captured him. Yuyue, what's up with these people? Fatty Chu asked. In my territory, they said they want to destroy Divine Devil Valley and deal with Heartbreak Valley. Sima Yuyue fed the pill, clapped her hands and stepped on the person beside her. What? How bold must he be? The others were all amused. In her territory, he dared to say that he wanted to destroy her forces. His guts were not ordinary. Isn't Cloud Cave's strength weaker than Divine Devil Valley? Sima Yulin said, could it be that they found someone to support them? Divine Devil Valley was attacked by Cloud Cave's people before. At that time, we knew that they were in cahoots with that mysterious force. Sima Yuyue said, so I think they must have borrowed the power of that force. Then let's interrogate them quickly and see when they will take action. Don't think about it, we will not betray the sect. The boss said firmly. That's right, you better kill us. Otherwise, we won't say anything. Oh, you're quite loyal. Sima Yuyue sneered, increased the strength of her foot and immediately broke that person's hand. Ah! The piercing pain made him cry out, beads of sweat fell along his hair, but even so, he was unwilling to say a word. Sima Yuyue retracted her foot, looked at him, then looked at the others, everyone's eyes showed fear. Fear? This was definitely not because he was afraid of her. To a cultivator, this bit of pain was nothing more than a matter of enduring it. Does that mean it's fear of others? Because of this fear, they did not dare to say anything. Even if they died, it was better than the fear in their hearts. It seems that we can't get the situation out of them. Sima Lu Xian also noticed. Well, it seems that I have to put in a lot of effort. Sima Yuyue said. What are you going to do? Huang Yingning asked. Of course, I'm going to deal with them. Sima Yuyue came to a spacious place, took out a pile of herbs and a pill furnace. In a short while, she refined a furnace of pills. Let them eat this. Sima Yuyue threw the jade bottle to Fatty Chu, packed up the pill furnace, and by the time she was done, she had already fed them the pills. What did you give us to eat? However, her words caused a few elders to glare at her. How could a little girl say such things? Sima Yuyue pursed her lips. This kind of filthy thing, was there a need to make such a fuss? Moreover, she was not wrong. Those people's expressions quickly became very erratic, their eyes lost focus. What's wrong with them? Fatty Chu asked. They are pursuing spiritual fulfillment. Sima Yuyue came in front of them and said, all right, now tell me what you know. What do you want to say? Let's talk about how to deal with Divine Devil Valley first. Divine Devil Valley? That person was stunned and said, we are going to attack Divine Devil Valley, to kill all of them. Snatch their resources. Sima Yuyue interrupted him, don't talk nonsense, what's your plan? When, how many people? Does Divine Devil Valley know about it? Divine Devil Valley has been fighting with us all these years, but they definitely don't know about the news this time, because the main force attacking them is not Cloud Cave, but the people from above. People from above? Do you know who it is? We are just small fries at the bottom, how would we know who it is? But we have received news from the sect, asking us to go back secretly. What about the time? In a month's time. How many people? We don't know either. We are only responsible for following orders. You really don't know? Sima Yuyue's voice suddenly rose, startling everyone. It's true. Cloud Cave's people said with certainty. Their forces are not strong, they shouldn't be very important. It's normal that you don't know. Sima Luxian said. Yes, Yuyue, don't worry. The others also advised. Sima Yuyue nodded at them, then continued to interrogate, what about Heartbreak Valley? What do you know about this? I know this, they plan to kill their valley lord Shiman Feng, because they forced Zongjing clan and Yin Yang Palace into a desperate situation. After killing him, after we destroy Divine Devil Valley, we will deal with the rest of Heartbreak Valley. Assassinate Shiman Feng? When? It seems to be these 2 days. Chapter 1382. It seemed that Heartbreak Valley's economic suppression of Zongjing family and Yenyang Palace made that mysterious force unable to sit still. Kill Shiman Feng first and cause chaos in Heartbreak Valley so that they could no longer suppress Yenyang Palace and Zongjing clan. At the same time, they would deal with Divine Devil Valley. After destroying Divine Devil Valley, they would turn back to deal with Heartbreak Valley. All the plans had to be carried out when Sima Yuyue wasn't around, because her presence was too unpredictable. Then, Sima Yuyue asked some other questions, but the answers she got were all unimportant. These people's positions in White Cloud D were too low, and they knew too little. If it wasn't for the fact that the matters of Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley had been put on the agenda, they wouldn't have known. Sima Yuyue took out a dagger and stabbed it into one of the men's heart. The man struggled for a while before he died. She took the opportunity to probe his divine sense, and the information she obtained was similar to what he said. It seems like my elixir is quite effective. Sima Yuyue threw the corpse on the ground and set it on fire, burning it to ashes. What kind of pill did you feed them just now? Make them tell the truth. It's my first time using it, so I want to see the effect. Sima Yuyue said. Yu, will the Valley Lord be alright? Fatty Chu and the others asked worriedly. They had also heard of that mysterious force. They heard that there were many powerful people. If Shiman Feng and the others were not prepared, it would be very easy for them to get into trouble. Sima Yuyue also thought of this and said, I'll contact him first and then send someone to protect him secretly. All right. More than an hour later, a group of people left Memory Restaurant quietly. These people weren't from Heartbreak Valley, but people from Blood Fiend City that she had invited. The people of Blood Fiend City were living a stable life in the Little Realm. Towards Sima Yuyue, they were very grateful. Moreover, after following her for such a long time, he knew a lot about her and understood her character better. In particular, some people had lived a peaceful life here for a period of time, and some wanted to go out and do something. Therefore, when Sima Yuyue asked for their help, they agreed without hesitation. Will these people be enough? Little Seven, who had come out to get some fresh air, was a little worried about the strength of those people. She and Shimin Fong had a good relationship. Now that she knew that he was in danger, she was very worried. After following Sima Yue for so many years, she had seen how powerful that mysterious force was. Grandpa went with them too. Besides, those people aren't as weak as you think they are. Sima Yue said. I don't know if your grandfather is reliable or not. Little Seven mumbled. Grandpa was despised by her. Sima Yue patted her head and said, I know you want to go, but you can't. Once you appear, others will know that I'm back. We can't let those people be unprepared. I know. That's why I didn't go. Little Seven sighed. It had been a long, long time since she beat someone up. Her hands were itching for a beating. When they deal with the Divine Devil Valley, you can do whatever you want. All right then, we can only wait. I don't know how long we have to wait. You rascal, how long have you been quiet and you're going to revert back to your original self? Sima Yue poked her forehead. Where? Little Seven pouted. Her face that was about to revert back to normal looked so cute. Where's Mier? Didn't he come out with you? He went out to play. Little Seven said, Don't worry, I've warned him. No matter what he turns into, he can't turn into our looks. We can't let anyone know that we're back. Not bad. You've grown up. Sima Yue praised with a smile. That's right. Little Seven raised her chin proudly. Oh right, Yu, do we have to do anything? We don't know the details about them attacking the Divine Devil Valley. We need to know more details about this. Sima Yue touched her chin, although I've already sent someone to send a message back to the Divine Devil Valley to remind them to be careful. Without any details, their defense has no purpose. Then let's go and capture the people above them. They're all in this city. Little Seven said with a grin. How did you know? Sima Yue stared at her. Did you do something behind my back? Nothing much, I just went to interrogate the remaining White Cloud D's people and asked about their boss. Hee hee, I'm smart right? So you wanted to go long ago. Since you know where it is, let's go. More than an hour later, in a courtyard in the same district as them, someone who was busy suddenly barged in and interrupted them. Who are you? What are you doing in my White Cloud D's territory? I'm here to look for someone. Sima Yue and Thousand Resonance combined and turned into a valiant bearded man. That vicious aura around him made it obvious that he was here to look for trouble. Who are you looking for? Where's Wang Tianhua? Sima Yue asked. A rather elegant-looking man came out from the house and saw Sima Yue. He asked, Why are you looking for me? You're Wang Tianhua. That's right, who are you? I'm Gue Hua's brother-in-law's brother's neighbor's brother-in-law who you abandoned. I heard that you hurt her, so I'm here to look for you to clear things up with her. Sima Yue placed the large knife in her hand on her shoulder and casually made up a story. She found out about this Gue Hua from White Cloud D's people. She heard that she was a good friend of his from the same hometown and was abandoned by him. I've said it before, don't look for me again. If you come and bother me again, don't blame me for being rude. Wang Tianhua snorted coldly. Ayayaya, you dumped her and you're still so arrogant. I'm here today to ask you to come with me to see her. If you don't agree, I'll forcefully take you away. In order to prevent any harm, you better come with me obediently. How dare you act so atrociously in my White Cloud D's territory? Wang Tianhua laughed coldly. With a wave of his hand, more than 10 people surrounded Sima Yue. However, Sima Yue didn't intend to fight with these people. She called out Little Seven who was in disguise. Little Seven's eyes lit up when she saw those people. She raised her fist and attacked them. Sima Yue teleported to Wang Tianhua's side. Wang Tianhua was shocked. Before he could react, he realized that his body couldn't move. What did you do to me? He screamed in shock. Nothing, just something to calm you down. You poisoned me. Smart. Sima Yuyue smiled, then, come with us obediently. Wang Tianhua watched as little Seven took care of all the people in the courtyard. He felt as if his blood was flowing backwards. Let's go. Sima Yuyue grabbed him by the neck and took him away under the watchful eyes of the wounded on the ground. Chapter 1383. White Cloud D's people were in a mess. When did Guihua find such a powerful person to help her? Wang Tianhua had abandoned her. Now that he had been captured, would something happen to him? Should we report this to the higher-ups? What's there to report? If the higher-ups knew that he was delaying official business because of personal matters at this time, they would definitely punish him. If he is punished, will we still have a good life? When the time comes, he will definitely be sent as the power forward. That's true. Then let's not report it. As long as he came back before then, it would be fine. We're the ones doing it anyway. Yes. It's settled then. Therefore, no one suspected that Wang Tianhua had been kidnapped by Sima Yuyue. Wang Tianhua felt that after leaving White Cloud D's territory, his divine sense had become chaotic. He had no idea who he had been following, how long he had been following, and where he had gone. By the time he woke up, he was already surrounded by people. And this was not Guihua's home at all. Who are you? He realized that something was wrong. He wanted to move, but he was tied to the chair. Don't waste your energy. This is the immortal binding rope I refined. You won't be able to break it. Fatty Chu said proudly from the side. With just this, you can only bind someone of his level of strength. Once he gets a little stronger, you won't be able to do anything. You still have the nerve to call it the immortal binding rope? Sima Yulu and Fatty Chu had the best relationship. Seeing how proud he was, he laughed and teased. This is only the first generation. When I have time later, I will slowly improve it. I will definitely make this immortal binding rope live up to its name. Fatty Chu said confidently. We'll be waiting. Good luck. Sima Yulu smiled as he patted his shoulder. Wait for me to blind your eyes. How could Fatty Chu not tell that he was laughing at him? He patted his chest and said. Wang Tianhua tried to move, but he couldn't break free from the rope. Seeing the big man who brought her here, she said, this is not Guihua's home at all. Who are you? Why did you bring me here? What is your intention? Looks like you're not stupid after all, Sima Yuyue said as she removed her fusion with 1000 resonance and returned to her original form. You are. Sima Yuyue. Wang Tianhua exclaimed, his heart sinking. She actually came back secretly, but they didn't know about it. Also, did she know something by tying her up and bringing her here? You look so shocked, it seems like you know why I asked you to come here. Sima Yuyue said, if that's the case, are you going to confess or do you want me to torture you? Don't expect me to tell you anything. You'd better let me go. Otherwise, the people from my sect will definitely come looking for you. Can you find someone from your hometown? Sima Yuyue said, you don't need me to remind you of how you treat your subordinates, do you? Do you think they have the guts to interrupt you? Wang Tianhua's heart sank even further. She was right. Whoever dared to disturb him would definitely not have a good ending. Therefore, it was very likely that they would ignore him this time. But even so, he would not tell her anything. Even if he were to die, he couldn't say anything. Just like those people. I'm going to waste my pills again. He heard a sigh by his ear, and was then fed a pill. He wanted to spit it out, but it melted in his mouth and he couldn't spit it out. Very quickly, he felt that his brain no longer belonged to him. It was as if he had arrived at a vast expanse of white. The white clouds touched him, and it was very comfortable and pleasant. At this moment, it was as if someone was talking by his ear. He didn't know what was said, and he didn't know what he said either. He thought that he had ascended to immortality. Not long after, the white clouds around him slowly dissipated, and the feeling of floating disappeared. His divine sense returned, and he found that he was still locked in the same room. However, there were no longer those people around him, and there was only a little girl in her teens. She sat on a chair by the side, her hands supporting her chin. Her big round eyes looked very innocent. "Little sister, can you let me go?" He tried to tempt her. "If you let me go, I'll give you something good, how about that?" "Nothing much." Little Seven was very unhappy that he was treating her like a fool. "If you want me to let you go, you have to agree to one condition." "What condition?" Wang Tianhua's eyes lit up. As long as there was hope, it was fine. "I'll untie you and I will fight. If you win, you can leave," Little Seven said. Wang Tianhua looked at Little Seven. There was no spirit beast aura on her, which meant that she was a human. How strong could a human girl in her teens be? As long as she untied him, would she be able to stop him? Thinking of this, he readily agreed. "Then I'll untie you." Little Seven came to his side and untied the knot on the rope. She took 2 steps back and said, "It's done." Wang Tianhua stood up and tore off the rope on his body. Then he said to Little Seven, "Little sister, I don't want to hurt you. As long as you don't make a sound, I won't hurt you, understand?" "You're saying that you won't fight with me?" Little Seven asked. "Wait for next time, okay? I'll fight with you next time." Wang Tianhua sensed that there was no one outside, so he could escape. He walked towards the door and prepared to open it. However, just as his hand touched the handle, a cold aura came from behind him. "You dare to lie to me? Do you really think I'm a child?" Little Seven's voice was cold. Wang Tianhua was shocked and turned his head to look. The person who was at the other end of the room suddenly appeared in front of him. Then a pair of small hands grabbed his collar and grabbed his shoulders. With a strong swing, she threw him out. Wang Tianhua fell on his back. However, the pain on his body could not compare to the shock in his heart. This little girl actually had such great strength. Could it be that she was not as weak as she looked? "You're not human." He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and cried out. "How am I human?" Little Seven coldly snorted, "You bad person, you actually dared to lie to me. You will pay the price." After saying this, she raised her fists and went to beat him up. Wang Tianhua saw that the action was familiar. His eyes suddenly widened and he cried out, "You're the person who beat people up in the manor. Humph, you only know now. You dare to lie to the cute Little Seven. Prepare to suffer my anger." Little Seven shouted as she pounced forward. Very quickly, miserable cries came from the room. The other people in the courtyard all shook their heads. Yue let Little Seven guard him. Was this intentional? At the same time, far away in the outskirts, Shimen Feng and Old Bai were madly running. They were trying to shake off the people chasing them. However, no matter if they used a one-time transfer array or a space passage, the other party was able to lock onto them tightly. Because of the overdraft of their strength, the people behind them gradually caught up. Chapter 1384. Shimen Feng and the others naturally knew who was chasing them. They didn't expect that this mysterious power would actually come to kill them. It seemed that their suppression of the Yin-Yang Palace and the Zongjing clan had attracted the attention of that mysterious force. Previously, the Yin-Yang Palace and the Zongjing family had turned against each other because of Yue's scheme. However, later on, because of the support of the same force behind them, they temporarily colluded with each other. This time, they had attacked the economies of the two forces, causing the other party to want to kill them. Everyone understood this in their hearts, so after catching up, they did not speak any nonsense and directly started fighting. However, the spirit beasts were injured, and the people's spirit energy was exhausted. They simply could not compare to the people who came up one after another. Was he really going to die here today? Outside the battlefield, a man frowned as he looked at the few people who were stubbornly resisting. These people's combat power was too strong. If they hadn't brought so many people and took turns to attack, they would have escaped this time. He sensed some movement in the air. Fearing that the situation had changed, he waved his hand to the people behind him. You guys, attack together. Let's end this quickly. Upon receiving the order, the few people behind him ignored their own injuries and ran over to attack. Motherf *Ker, someone is really trying to kill our Valley Lord. Fortunately, we rushed over. Alright, cut the crap. Hurry up and save the Valley Lord and Elder Bai. The moment the spatial passageway opened, a group of people rushed out. When they saw Shimin Feng and the others being forced into a desperate situation, they were furious. Although they didn't know the relationship between Shimin Feng and Sima Yuyue, they knew that Sima Yuyue cared a lot about him and Bai Sheng. If something really happened, how were they going to account for it? One had to know that they had padded their chests and promised that they would protect Shimin Feng and the others well. Valley Lord, we are here to save you. Valley Lord, let us deal with these people. Old Bai, we're here. Shimin Feng's group only had 12 people while the enemy had 30 to 40 people. The people from Blood Fiend City who had rushed over were a total of 200 people and all of them were very strong. When they saw these people, everyone was dumbfounded. Shimin Feng had never seen them before, but from their voices, he knew that these people should be called by Sima Yuyue. Otherwise, they wouldn't be called Valley Lord, and wouldn't know Bai Sheng and the others. Bai Sheng looked at the leaders and smiled. He said excitedly, Valley Lord, they're here. We'll be fine. Shimin Feng and the others could not hold on any longer. When they saw that someone was coming, they went limp. Fortunately, he was caught by someone and did not fall to the ground. Motherf *Ker. How dare you touch our Valley Lord? You must be tired of living. Brothers, today we must avenge the Valley Lord and the others. We must also know that our Heartbreak Valley is not that easy to bully. That's right. You talk too much. Let's do it, the others are already doing it. Very quickly, those people were beaten to a pulp. They were cautious and did not kill them directly. But when those people saw that there was no hope of escaping, they all committed suicide. Old Bai, they're all dead. The people in charge of inspection said to Bai Sheng. Alright, Shimin Feng was not their real Valley Lord, so those words earlier were for others to hear. It was to prevent the identity of Blood Fiend City from being exposed, and to let others know that Sima Yuyue was secretly making arrangements. Because, other than Sima Yuyue, no one else from Blood Fiend City was able to move. If someone received today's news, they would only think that the people from Heartbreak Valley had rushed over. Now that they were sure that there was no one around, they would not really treat Shimin Feng as the Valley Lord. But, they still had the respect that they should have. Why did you few old men come over? Bai Sheng had a good relationship with old Lu, so he asked. Of course it's because Miss Yuyue said that you were in trouble and asked us to come over. Old Lu said, at first, she asked us to look for you. But when we found out that you were being chased, we rushed over. Luckily, we came in time. How did boss know that we were being chased? Ni was injured and someone was bandaging his wound. Once he heard that it was Sima Yuyue who asked them to come over, he was extremely agitated. This, you can go back and ask her. We don't know either. Old Lu scratched his neck. Yuyue caught a few people from Cloud Cave. She heard that there would be an assassination, so she asked them for help. Sima Xiuqi walked over from behind and said faintly. Shimin Feng saw that Sima Xiuqi was here and quickly bowed. Grandpa Qi, why are you here too? Yuyue was worried about you guys, so she asked me to rush over. I don't have anything to do at home, so I came over. Sima Xiuqi said. Yuyue said that you guys are in danger now and asked you to go back. After you guys rest, we'll make a move. Alright. Shimin Feng and the rest knew that they were being targeted by that mysterious force. Without any preparation, it was too dangerous to stay outside. Half a day later, Sima Xiuqi brought them back to Sima Yoyue's place. When the people from Blood Fiend City came back, they said that they wanted to go out for a walk. They were nearby, so they weren't afraid of meeting their enemies. Sima Yuyue saw the injured people and they were all in a sorry state. How are you? Are you alright? I'm fine. Luckily you sent people to rescue us. Shimin Fong said. Boss, it's all thanks to you. You are our lucky star. Dai Yi said with a grin. Alright, all of you are seriously injured, so why are you still laughing foolishly? Hurry up and recuperate. Sima Yuyue patted his shoulder and pressed on his wound. Although the wound wasn't bleeding, it was still so painful that he grimaced and sucked in cold air. Sima Yuyue let go of him and said to the rest, I've already arranged the rooms for you guys. Don't worry about anything first and recuperate. We'll talk about other things later. Alright. Right, where's Lu Yangkai? Sima Yuyue asked. He should still be in Tong City. Send someone to inform him to come back. It's not safe for him to be outside now. Moreover, I have some things to discuss with him. Sima Yuyue said. Forget it, all of you are injured. Let the shopkeeper inform him later. Alright, go back to your rooms and rest now. Everyone returned to their rooms. After fighting for so long and escaping for so long, they were injured and tired. It was time to rest since they didn't fully recover. On the second day, Lu Yangkai came back. It wasn't too far away. Sima Yuyue called Shimin Fong and the rest to the living room and told them what she found out. So that force doesn't see eye to eye with us and is preparing to deal with us? Nine said. You guys have been closing the net recently. Yin Yang Palace and Zongjing clan are forced into a desperate situation. That's why they want to get rid of Feng, or first so that Heartbreak Valley will have no leader. After destroying Divine Devil Valley, the next target will be Heartbreak Valley. However, do they really think that the world's bones are so easy to chew? Sima Yuyue said solemnly. Chapter 1385. I don't know what kind of power that is. They're causing trouble everywhere. Feng Kai said, the Trade Union Alliance has joined forces with other forces to suppress them for the past 2 to 3 years. They have to deal with the Trade Union Alliance and still have the energy to attack other sects? The others were also very angry. Could it be that that faction is already so powerful? Sima Yuyue thought about it and shook her head. I don't think so. Even the forces in the inner circle couldn't possibly have such strength. With all the unions working together, even a single force in the inner circle would not be able to withstand them. Not to mention that he still had to spare energy to deal with others. If it really is a faction, then they are already so strong. They wouldn't be so secretive and play dirty tricks in the dark. Boss, do you mean that those things in the past were not done by a single faction? Shi Chen was shocked by his own thoughts. Every time we see them dressed the same way, it doesn't mean that they are the same group of people. Sima Yuyue said, are you sure that they are snobbish people? Everyone looked at each other. They really couldn't be sure. That's why we can't say anything for now. They might belong to the same faction, or they might belong to different factions. We don't know. But no matter what the situation is, as long as they dare to invade us, then we will kill them one by one, and kill them in pairs. We will not let those people return. Seeing how domineering Sima Yuyue was, everyone laughed and the tense atmosphere disappeared. However, I can be sure that the forces behind the Cloud Cave, Zongjing clan, and Yin Yang Palace should be the same. Then let's follow the clues and see if we can find this force. Alright. You have to be careful. If they kill you once, they will kill you twice. Furthermore, we've killed all of their people. They definitely won't let this matter rest. If you go out again, you must bring more people with you. Sima Yuyue reminded. We will. Shimin Fong nodded. He would not joke about the lives of the people in the valley. Liang Kai, you've worked hard these past few years. To be able to drive them to desperation, your contribution is remarkable. Sima Yuyue said to Lu Liang Kai. They definitely know about Liang Kai's existence. So Feng, you must send people to protect Liang Kai. I plan to bring more people with me if Liang Kai goes out. Shimin Fong thought of this too. Ask Fatty to refine more thunderbolt bullets later. Bring more of them with you when you go out. See if we can't blow them up. Nie said. No matter what, Fatty is still alone. Even if he refines day and night, he won't be able to make it in time, Feng Kai said. I've already discussed this matter with Fatty. He will return to the valley and teach the refiners in the valley how to refine thunderbolt bombs. Sima Yu continued, it's just that you'll have to think of a way to get the materials, because some materials aren't easy to find. As long as it's a name list, it shouldn't be a problem. Yes, although these things are rare, they are not hard to find. Sima Yu continued, in addition, I got someone to pass the recipe to the Divine Devil Valley. If you meet them when you are purchasing materials, let them pass. Okay. Also, we've made some plans. Feng, don't appear for a while. Just say that you were seriously injured in yesterday's assassination and are unconscious. Sima Yu said. Then, you guys. Soon, Heartbreak Valley spread the news that Shiman Feng was assassinated and was seriously injured and unconscious. Fortunately, the people in the valley arrived in time and he was hanging on to his last breath. But even so, the people in Heartbreak Valley couldn't wake him up. They could only pin their hopes on the Divine Doctor, Vice Valley Lord. But Sima Yu had been missing for 3 to 4 years. So, the people in Heartbreak Valley searched for her everywhere. At this time, in an inconspicuous small courtyard in a certain city, several people wearing black clothes and black masks were gathered together. Shiman Feng is really unconscious? The person in the middle said with a hoarse voice. Yes, Heartbreak Valley is in chaos now. They sent many people out to search for Sima Yu. Hall Master, since they're in chaos, should we take the opportunity to destroy them? The person on the other side asked. Don't worry. The Hall Master said. Although Heartbreak Valley is in chaos now, it's not the time of life and death, so other forces won't care. But if we attack them and they ask for help, not to mention other things, just the Bird Clan alone is enough for us to deal with. Our top priority now is to take down Heartbreak Valley and let the professional masters in the valley strengthen our strength. Then we don't care about Heartbreak Valley? Yin Yang Palace and Zongjing Clan have been suppressed badly recently. Send someone to tell them to hold on until a month later. Heartbreak Valley is already leaderless. If they can't survive in this situation, then just wait for bankruptcy. The organization won't want such useless trash. Yes. Hall Master, I think Yin Yang Palace and Zongjing Clan are too useless. This Heartbreak Valley has only been established for a few years. How can they not even compare to a new force? What do you know? The Hall Master said. This Heartbreak Valley seems to be established not long ago, but its power can't be underestimated. They're so powerful. They can get the Hall Master's affirmation. You've been carrying out missions, not intelligence gathering. It's reasonable that you're not familiar with them. The Hall Master said. Although they've only been established not long ago, they have a strong background. Memory Restaurant is their property. In addition, Qin Mo also gave them many shops. Plus these years of operation, they've expanded a lot. So, their business foundation isn't weak. If they only have this little business foundation, they won't be able to make those two trash helpless. The Hall Master said. Then why? Have you heard of Lu Yangkai? Everyone thought for a while and said, Hall Master, are you talking about the business genius Lu Yangkai who was expelled from the Lu clan in the inner region? Yes, it's him. The Hall Master snorted. The Lu clan is a group of old fools. Because of some groundless things, they drove a business genius out of the clan and chased him all the way. In the end, they forced him to go to Blood Fiend City. Now he's the one managing the economy in Heartbreak Valley. No wonder when I heard the news of Heartbreak Valley before, I felt that the name was familiar. With a certain foundation, coupled with Lu Yangkai's talent, it's normal that those two trash would be suppressed. It's a pity that none of our close to 100 people came back. The Hall Master thought of this and clenched his fist. However, How did the people of Heartbreak Valley get the news and run to the rescue? Well, it's time to attack Divine Devil Valley. You guys go and make the final confirmation. 3 days later, we'll set off. Chapter 1386. The Divine Devil Valley had been very busy these years, because the group of dregs from the Cloud Cave were very restless. They often provoked them and targeted them. While they were busy with the matters in the valley, they also had to deal with those bastards from Cloud Cave. What made them even angrier was that every time they forced the people of Cloud Cave into a desperate situation, there would be other forces coming to rescue them. It made them feel like they were hitting a ball of cotton. This really pissed them off. However, their tempers were much smoother recently, and they no longer looked bitter and bitter. Instead, they each did their own things. On this day, the people from Cloud Cave and the mysterious forces arrived at Divine Devil Valley. At the same time, the others went to their branch hall outside, preparing to destroy their forces in the branch hall. Boom! The fierce attack shook the entire Divine Devil Valley, and very quickly, a group of people flew out from the valley. The God Valley Lord, Liang Wu Ming, the various hall masters, and a group of elders came out. Those who were observant would notice that only the older generation was here. Ing Bai Chuan, the junior valley master, and the various young hall masters were not here. Unfortunately, the people of the Cloud Cave didn't notice this, or even if they noticed this, they didn't care about it. They thought that they were allowed to stay in the valley to protect them. Liang Wuming saw Cloud Cave's cave master Ma Yuanming and saw the mess outside Divine Devil Valley. He shouted, "You damn horse, how dare you bring people to my Divine Devil Valley, are you here to die?" Ha ha ha. Ma Yuanming raised his head and laughed. Liang Wuming, you're still boasting even now. Today is the day that your Divine Devil Valley is annihilated. With just the two of you? Liang Wuming snorted coldly, since you're here, then stay here. Valley Lord, why are you still talking nonsense with them? Just kill him. Xiao Jingzhong shouted. That's right. Tang Yi agreed with Xiao Jingzhong this time. The two of them stopped quarreling and stood together against the outside world. Yes. Valley Lord. These people have already fought their way to our doorstep. If we don't exterminate them, wouldn't that make us look like a failure? Ha ha ha. Xiao Jingzhong, are you blind? With the lords here, you won't be able to escape death today. Ma Yuanming laughed. Don't talk so much nonsense, just do it. The leader in black said. Go. Ha ha ha. You want to touch our Divine Devil Valley, are you sure your brains aren't spoiled? Suddenly, a loud laugh came from the sky, stopping the battle that was about to start. Could it be that there was external help at this time? When the people from Divine Devil Valley heard the voice, they were all excited. When they saw who it was, they all started to shout. It is the second Valley Lord. Second, the Valley Lord has returned. You brat, you actually left for so many years before coming back. I thought you died outside. Xiao Jingzhong shouted. Hee, I, old man devil, am back. Ha ha ha. The person who came out of the spatial tunnel was Old Man Devil, who had disappeared for a long time. Although he looked the same, everyone could feel that his aura was different. Old Man Devil took 2 steps to Liang Wuming's side and said, Senior brother, I'm back. Humph, you still know to come back. If it wasn't for your life jade, we would have thought that you died outside. Liang Wuming glared at him. This guy ran away all these years, leaving him to take care of the Divine Devil Valley's matters alone. Now that he saw his familiar face, he couldn't help but get angry. Of course I'm back. I just came out of seclusion and rushed back the moment I heard that something happened to the Divine Devil Valley. Old Man Devil said with certainty. How did you know that something happened here? Who told you? Hee, it's a secret. Old Man Devil said with a grin. He looked at Ma Yuanming with one hand on his waist and the other pointing at him, saying, Dead horse, why are you still alive after so many years? Humph, how can I die when you're not dead? Ma Yuanming snorted. Hee hee, you sent so many people here to destroy my divine Devil Valley. Luckily I came back in time, otherwise I wouldn't have seen you die. Old Man Devil sighed. How arrogant. You think you're back? Chapter 1387. When the people from Divine Devil Valley saw the item that the black-robed man took out, they were astonished. Many of their faces flashed with worry. Formation-breaking tool. The faces of the Divine Devil Valley's hall masters and elders turned ugly. They didn't expect the mysterious force to have such a thing. The formation-breaking tool was a very rare divine tool. With it in hand, it could break almost all of the present formations. Only the formations passed down from ancient times would not be of much use to it. Get out. When the black-clothed man saw that the hole above was almost opened, he took the lead and flew out. When the others saw this, they also flew up. Soon, everyone in the array formation flew out of the array formation. Although I am surprised that you all have made preparations beforehand, that does not mean that this will change anything, the black-clothed man said coldly. That's right. Ma Yuanming had escaped a calamity. He was furious. He looked at Liang Wuming and the others with a fierce gaze. Everyone, attack. We must destroy them today. Let's see who will destroy who. Outer Valley disciples, now is the time to play our role. Everyone, attack. Both parties had officially clashed, and the entire area outside the Divine Devil Valley was their battlefield. The nearby mountain peaks were almost destroyed. Even the Divine Devil Valley's main valley was destroyed because of the destruction of the defensive array. Because of the addition of the mysterious forces, the Divine Devil Valley was gradually losing ground. Many people began to use thunderbolt bullets. Once this thing appeared, the entire mountain range was riddled with holes. It had to be said that those from the inner regions were much more powerful than Divine Devil Valley. Even if they were prepared, even if they had thunderbolt bombs and various spirit weapons, they still couldn't defeat them. Valley Lord, with my current strength, I won't be able to hold on for much longer. Xiao Jingzhong said as he panted heavily. After killing one person, he saw that Liang Wuming was also resting. I didn't expect them to have an array-breaking artifact. This has spoiled our plan to a large extent. Liang Wuming said, I've already sent her a message. She should be bringing people over. Everyone, just hold on a little longer. I can only endure. Damn it, luckily we have a lot of medicinal pills, otherwise this spiritual energy would not be enough. Xiao Jingzhong cursed, ate a medicinal pill, and continued to attack the people of the Cloud Cave. The Cloud Cave's people were originally afraid of the Divine Devil Valley's people, but seeing them retreating under the attack of the black-robed men, their morale soared, forcing the Divine Devil Valley's people to retreat into the valley. However, their defense array had been destroyed by the black-clothed men during the battle, so even if they retreated, it wouldn't be able to protect them. They're retreating. Everyone catch up, we must eradicate the Divine Devil Valley today. Ma Yuanming raised his arm and shouted. The people of Cloud Cave immediately became excited. The Divine Devil Valley had always been suppressing them. After so many years, they could finally get rid of them and vent their anger. One side's morale was low due to their initial loss, while the other side's morale was high. The difference was obvious. By the time Sima Yuyue arrived with the people from Heartbreak Valley, all they saw was a mess in Divine Devil Valley. Damn it, where's this mountain? Ni shouted. It must have been leveled. Sima Yuyue saw the situation and felt something was wrong. She and Liang Wuming had discussed before, if they could deal with it, they wouldn't show up, if they couldn't, she would bring people over. But she only received a short message from Liang Wuming, because he crushed the communication device. She had a response, but she didn't know what happened in the middle. Therefore, when she saw the mess, she was a little stunned. Could it be that the other party was so strong that those things were useless? Let's not care about that first. Let's save them first. Sima Yuyue said to the people around her. They didn't need to look for the people from Divine Devil Valley, because there were sounds of fighting everywhere. Oh my God, you black and white are going to heaven. Ni and E shouted exaggeratedly when he saw Cloud Cave and the black-clothed men's clothes. But his hands didn't stop moving, and in a few moves, he rescued the few people from the Divine Devil Valley who were trapped. When the others saw the people from Heartbreak Valley, they cried out excitedly, "It's the people from Heartbreak Valley! The people from Heartbreak Valley are here to save us! Everyone must hold on! Ha ha ha! People from Cloud Cave, go to hell!" The scene changed again, both sides' momentum was tilted again. Because Sima Yue brought a lot of people, the situation was quickly improved. Sima Yue joined the battle. After she saved a few people, she turned and saw Old Man Devil who was fighting with Ma Yuanming. "Master!" she shouted in surprise. But Old Man Devil didn't react at all, he was still focused on the battle. Sima Yue reacted immediately. This was a battlefield, he couldn't be distracted. Moreover, she changed her appearance and voice. It was normal that he didn't react. Since Master was back, they would have time to meet up later. Thinking of this, she wanted to end the battle quickly. She had more energy to kill those people. The man in black saw the people from Heartbreak Valley who joined the battle, then looked at the people from Cloud Cave who were almost killed. He gritted his teeth and said, "Pull." The people beside him immediately took out a whistle and blew. The man in black heard the sound and said to the people from Cloud Cave, "Retreat." "Retreat? We've already fought to this point, how can we retreat?" But the man in black didn't care about their opinions, he turned and left without hesitation. "If you don't want to leave, then you can stay, we'll leave." The people from Cloud Cave saw that the man in black really retreated, no matter how unwilling they were, they had to leave. "Boss, should we stop them?" Feng Ji asked. Sima Yue looked at the Divine Devil Valley who suffered heavy losses. She asked Liang Wuming, "Valley Lord, do you still want to chase after them? They have array-breaking weapons, we can't keep them. Let them go. But for today's grudge, after we've fixed up, we'll definitely go and take revenge," Liang Wuming said. Sima Yue understood why Divine Devil Valley lost when she heard about array-breaking weapons. She naturally understood that they couldn't keep those people without any preparation. "Tell everyone, don't chase," she ordered. "Okay." Feng Ji passed down the message, telling them not to chase, but the people from Heartbreak Valley still chased after them for a while. They only stopped when they opened up a space tunnel and left. Sima Yue saw that the people from Cloud Cave had left. She saw Old Man Devil coming over. She shouted happily, "Master." Old Man Devil stared at her and said, "Young man, although you saved me, you can't call me master so casually. You." Before he finished, he saw Sima Yue who had disintegrated with 1,000 resonance. His eyes widened. Chapter 1388. You're Yue? Old Man Devil was shocked, but then he laughed and hugged her. "Ha ha ha, I didn't expect to see my precious disciple as soon as I came back." "Master, don't shout so loudly. I can't let others know that I'm back yet." We'll talk about the details when we get back." Sima Yue looked at the almost flattened valley. "Seems like we can only make do here. I don't think we can live here anymore. As for the rest, let's talk about it later. Let everyone recuperate first," Liang Wuming said. "All right. I will first bring some people to set up a defensive array. Everyone can recuperate inside the defensive array," Sima Yue said. "All right. I'll have to trouble you then," Liang Wuming said gratefully. "Then we'll go first. The few of you, follow me." Sima Yue called a few array masters from Heartbreak Valley to set up a relatively large defense array. Old Man Devil's jaw almost dropped to the ground when he saw Sima Yue leave just like that. "My Yue is so awesome. Many things have happened in the years you were away. You missed out on her growth." Liang Wuming said, "This disciple of yours, in just a few short decades, has already grown to a height that people can only look up to." "What?" Old Man Devil was even more shocked. "Hurry up and tell me, what has she been through all these years?" Therefore, While Sima Yuyue and the rest were setting up the formation, Liang Wuming told him everything he knew about Sima Yuyue. After that, he added, "These are all things that we know. I believe that there are many things that we don't know." Old Man Devil was stunned. He needed time to digest this information. How did he get such a heaven-defying disciple? Moreover, he didn't seem to have taught her how to refine pills, and the time they spent together wasn't much. Adding it all up, it didn't seem to be more than a few days. He felt a knot in his heart. She was so outstanding, would she still acknowledge an incompetent master like him? However, when he thought of how outstanding she was, as her master, he felt proud. After Sima Yuyue finished setting up the array, she came back to see Old Man Devil frowning for a while and looking happy for a while. "Master, what's wrong? Why is the wound still bleeding? Have you taken any pills?" she asked with concern. Old Man Devil saw that she was still very concerned about him, so he hugged her and said, "Yuyue, master is not competent. I let you go through so many things alone. Would you blame me for abandoning you? So this guy is actually thinking about this." She patted his back and said, "Master, what are you thinking? A master for a day is a father for life. How could I not recognize you?" Sob, 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 master is so touched. Old Man Devil's devilish cries made everyone in the Divine Devil Valley raise their eyebrows. "All right, master, everyone is looking at you." Sima Yuyue smelled the scent of blood on his body. She struggled out of his arms and took out some healing pills for him. "Hee, I was so surprised that I forgot. But I only have external injuries. It's not serious, so I don't need these pills." Old Man Devil laughed as he took out the pills and ate them. Very quickly, the wounds stopped bleeding. Not long later, the light of the array appeared outside the array. Ying Baichuan brought a group of people out. Seeing the mess in the Divine Devil Valley, they were stunned. How could the losses here be so serious? They wanted to go in, but they realized that the array was different. Just as they were about to contact Liang Wuming, the array opened up and allowed them to go in. Ying Baichuan looked around and didn't care if it was a trap or not. He said to the people behind him, "I'll go in and take a look first. If there's nothing, you guys can come in. Let's go in. If anything happens, you'll be able to lead everyone better than us." "No, let me go." Ying Baichuan said, "You guys wait here. Junior Valley Master. If there's really something in the valley, then we..." "Hey, are you guys coming in or not?" Ni and E suddenly appeared behind the array, giving everyone a shock. "Isn't this one of the top 10 evildoers? He's following Yuyue Junior Valley Master. This means that it's safe inside." Someone recognized Ni and E. This meant that it was safe inside. "Go in," Ying Baichuan said, and those people went in one after another. After everyone went in, the array closed up again. After Ying Baichuan and the rest went in, they saw a group of injured people not long after. "Master! Master! Hall Master! Baichuan, you guys are back. How are things over there?" Liang Wuming asked. "Things are going smoothly over there. We killed most of the people in Cloud Cave and those black-robed men, but some escaped." Ying Baichuan said, "Master, why is it so serious here?" "They have an array-breaking device which messed up our plan." Liang Wuming reminded, "Go and see if anyone needs help." "Yes, Master." Ying Baichuan was surprised to see Sima Yuyue. "Yuyue? When did you come back?" Sima Yuyue saw that he was surprised and blinked. "I've been back for a while." "Why, senior uncle didn't tell you? You're the one who told Master the news?" Ying Baichuan suddenly realized. He was curious who told Master the news and made him believe it without a doubt and made arrangements based on it. So it was her. "We're lucky to have you this time, otherwise our losses would be greater. We might really be exterminated. Look at what you're saying. Although I didn't spend much time in the valley, I'm still considered a member of the Divine Devil Valley." Sima Yuyue smiled. "Are you going to calculate the data?" "Yes." To see the casualties this time. Then go ahead. I'm going to check on those who are seriously injured. They brushed past each other and went about their own business. Soon, the final result was out. Not many people died, but many were injured. As there was an alchemy hall, there was no shortage of pills, so the injuries were nothing. But what gave them a headache now was that the valley was destroyed in the battle. How were they going to live here in the future? That son of a bitch Ma Yuanming, I'll definitely kill him when I see him. Seeing the mess in the Divine Devil Valley, everyone was furious. It's useless to be angry now, wait for us to recover. We'll definitely raise the Cloud Cave's territory and make them pay with their blood. Sima Yue said. But everyone can't stay here forever. The Divine Devil Valley can't be used for a while. Those who are injured need to rest. Liang Wuming said painfully. Senior uncle, since that's the case, why don't we let them rest in the Heartbreak Valley? We're still big inside, let everyone go there first, we'll come back after we're done here. Sima Yue suggested. TXT download address, mobile reading, book review. For the convenience of your next reading, you can bookmark at the top to record the reading record of this, chapter 1388 post-war mess. Her suggestion, you'll be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat etc. Fanbone would thanks for your support. Chapter 1389. The whole continent knew that White Cloud Cave had joined forces with a mysterious force to attack the Valley of Gods and Demons. The entire continent knew that White Cloud Cave had joined forces with a mysterious faction to attack the demonic God Valley. Many people even went to observe the Valley of Gods and Demons. Seeing the desolation and the almost flat mountaintop, everyone thought that the people of the Valley of Gods and Demons would gnash their teeth in hatred and glare at them angrily. After reorganizing themselves, they would attack. But now, there was a great show, but it was different from what they had expected. The Valley of Gods and Demons was going to merge with the Broken Intestines Valley to form a new force. This news was too surprising. It was said that the Valley Master of the Broken Intestines Valley, Shimen Feng, had been assassinated and had fallen into a coma. No one could wake him up, and the Broken Intestines Valley had used all its strength to search for Sima Yue. Now that the Valley of Gods and Demons had merged with it, it was probably not a merger, but a forceful occupation. TSK, this Sima Yue was the Deputy Valley Master of the Broken Intestines Valley. If she came back and found out that the Valley of Gods and Demons had annexed the Broken Intestines Valley, what kind of expression would she have? As the young Valley Master of the Valley of Gods and Demons, would she seek justice for the Broken Intestines Valley? Of course, this was on the premise that she could come back alive. She had never disappeared from the public's eyes for so long. Maybe she was really dead. Many people were excited at the thought of this possibility. They could not afford to offend her, but it was good to know that she was dead, ha ha ha. Moreover, the Broken Intestines Valley that she had built up with her own hands was about to be annexed by her sect. Just thinking about it made people happy. When Sima Yue heard this news in the Broken Intestines Valley, she could not help but twitch the corner of her mouth. Bei Gong, why am I so hated? She touched her face. She did not seem to have done anything that angered both men and gods, right? Why were there so many people who wished for her to be bad? Bei Gong Tang was sipping tea with her. The two beauties sat under a big locust tree at the top of the mountain, smelling the faint fragrance of flowers and tasting the fragrant flower tea. They chatted cheerfully and wittily, and the disciples who passed by could not help but take a few more glances. Bei Gong Tang saw her reaction after hearing the news about the scarlet wasps, and he immediately laughed. Do you think that you have offended a lot of people? Moreover, there are some people who, even if you did not offend them, would not want to see you better than others. I don't think I have offended many people. The people that I dealt with were asking for it. Sima Yue harumphed. In their eyes, you are the one in the wrong. No matter how you look at them, they are not pleasing to the eye. Bei Gong Tang said. That's true. Those people think differently from us. Sima Yue sighed. Boom, a shattering sound came from afar. She looked in that direction and curled her lips. Those people are really passionate. Of course. Bei Gong Tang wanted to laugh at this. I didn't realize that you were so charming before. Those disciples were actually willing to form a new force for you. My charm has always been very high. Otherwise, how could I have lured you guys to follow me? Sima Yue said with a smile. She could still remember that when she walked out of the city in Dongchen Nation, she saw those guys waiting by the roadside. At that time, she had nothing in the eyes of others, but these guys knew that she was going to save her grandfather. They knew that the road ahead was dangerous, but they still followed her without hesitation. Did you invite the Guild Alliance? Bei Gong Tang's words interrupted her memories. Yes, Sima Yue said. I didn't intend to invite them at first, but they said that I'm a figurehead of the Guild Alliance after all. If I don't invite them since the others have already invited them, those old guys will probably make a fuss again. I wonder if those mysterious forces that are against the guild and us are the same, Bei Gong Tang said. I don't think so. Sima Yue told her the analysis of Shimen Feng and the others that day. If it was the same force, then this force was too strong. It was terrifyingly strong. Moreover, according to the news she had recently received, there were other mysterious forces interfering in other places. They had even spread throughout the entire middle area. This kind of power was definitely not something that a single force could possess. Especially when they were able to prevent the people in the inner area from finding out their identities. It's really chaotic recently. I don't know how it will develop, Bei Gong Tang said worriedly. The forces in the inner area are forcefully occupying resources. It's either because they're too ambitious, or they're robbing resources from the outside world. Humans are only looking at these things because they can't satisfy their desires. Sima Yue sighed. You're the only one who would be so lazy and push everything away. To be able to let you become a valley master, both sides had to spend a lot of effort to persuade you. I'm not interested in managing others, and I don't have any feelings towards others bowing down to me. Power has never been something I've pursued. Sima Yue said, since ancient times, there's a saying, life is precious, but love is even more valuable. If it's for freedom, both can be thrown away. Hee, others can't be as carefree as you. Hee, Sima Yue felt that she really did not like these things. Whether it was in the Alchemist Guild, the Alchemy Guild, or even the previous Broken Intestine Valley, she had always been a manager who did not have to do anything. Even if it was reorganized now, she was still only a deputy valley master. Moreover, she did not have to do anything, only a deputy valley master in name. At first, she was not even willing to do this, but they all said earnestly, the Broken Intestine Valley and the Demonic Valley can be fused together because of her. She is the link between them. If she does not do anything, it will not be good for stabilizing the people's hearts. With such a dignified reason, she could not refuse even if she wanted to. Fortunately, everyone understood her, and gave her a deputy valley master who did not have to do anything. As long as she provided manpower, she did not have to do anything. Even if you do nothing, just standing there is good enough. Sigh, she let out a long sigh. She never thought that there would be a day when she would become a mascot. 3 months passed in a flash, and the appearance of the Broken Intestine Valley changed drastically. Houses sprung up from the hilltops like bamboo shoots after the rain. Each division had their own small territory, not far from each other, but not disturbing each other. Not only that, they also built some houses on the cliff outside the Broken Intestine Valley. No, it was a group of houses, and it was estimated that it could accommodate tens of thousands of people. Sima Yue had never been out, but she could imagine how magnificent the group of buildings would be. In these 2 days, the place that was comparable to a small town gradually became lively, because there were only 3 to 4 days left before the reorganization conference. Many people from different forces had begun to arrive. If it was an ordinary invitation, most people would probably only arrive the day before the reorganization conference. However, they were too curious about the Broken Intestine Valley, so they came early to see what the broken intestine valley looked like. In the end, they were not allowed to enter, and all of them were arranged to the houses outside the valley, saying that they could only enter on the day of the reorganization conference. Since their curiosity could not be satisfied, some people began to court death. Chapter 1390. Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Godly Doctor, cough cough. Sima Yue choked from his words. She rolled her eyes at him and said, Master, what nonsense are you spouting? Could it be that I guessed wrong? No way, my intuition is pretty accurate. Old Man Devil giggled and said, Little girl, are you too shy to say it? What's there to be embarrassed about in front of Master? When are you going to give birth to a chubby boy for me to play with? You're old and disrespectful. Sima Yue glared at him. There's nothing between me and Senior, we just started dating. I haven't even found my mother, how can we get married? You're together, that's not bad, a chubby boy is just a matter of time. Ha ha ha. Sima Yue looked at him speechlessly. Master, aren't you going to ask about Senior's situation first? Aren't you worried about him? With you here, what does Master have to worry about? Old Man Devil was in a good mood. Since you're together, you definitely won't let anything happen to him. Just now he was so worried, but now he immediately became a hands-off shopkeeper. He was so relaxed. However, he didn't really ignore it. He sat down beside the chair and said, Tell me everything that happened before, their fusion, and what happened after. I thought you really didn't care anymore. Sima Yue came to his side and sat down, telling him what happened before. Old Man Devil sighed after hearing it. I didn't expect the Devil King to be such a loyal person. If it wasn't for the fact that he didn't want Sima Yue to get hurt, he wouldn't have had to break the contract himself, and naturally, there wouldn't have been anything after that. However, as a man, he could understand Imo Shaw's actions. No matter what happened to him, he couldn't let the woman he loved get hurt because of him. However, he's regained his identity as the Devil King, so he'll definitely have a lot of connections with the Devil Clan in the future. And from what you said, he still has a lot of grudges in the past, so these are unavoidable. If you're together with him, you'll be dragged into this. Have you thought it through? I've thought about it. Sima Yue said, although I don't like trouble, I'm never afraid of it. Since I chose to be with him, no matter what it is, we will face it together. So what if he was the Demon King over there? Senior Martial Brother is still the former Devil King. Ha ha ha. I knew you would say that. As expected of Old Man Devil's disciple, he's never afraid of trouble. Come to think of it, you're much braver than I was when I was young. Old Man Devil said with a sigh. Master, you went to find Aunt Fong. Did you find her? What took you so long? How did he know that something had happened to the Divine Devil Valley? Sima Yue had too many questions in her heart. Back then, I followed the information you gave me and went to find Jun Song. I pestered him to give you information about Aunt Fong. That guy gave me the wrong information at the beginning, but I managed to find her by accident. I didn't expect her to remember me. Seeing that I was injured, she threw me into a pool to recuperate. She didn't expect me to have some enlightenment in there. There were signs of advancement, so I went into closed-door cultivation. By the time I recovered from my injuries and came out of seclusion, she was no longer there. The people who were guarding outside told me that something had happened to the Divine Devil Valley, so I rushed back. No wonder I felt that Master's aura was different from before. Sima Yue said. Then I'll go back first. If there's anything else, let me know. All right. If there was anything she needed, she would definitely tell him. Who asked him to leave for so many years? After Old Man Devil left, she set up a spirit barrier and flashed into the spirit pagoda. Other than Di Wu Yi, there were only beasts in the spirit pagoda. The moment she went in, she saw the beasts pulling a long face. Seeing her go in, all of them hung their heads. We've flipped through all the medical books, but we still can't find a way. Hua Hua said. Although Sima Yue was a little disappointed, but this result wasn't unexpected. It's alright. Even if there isn't one here, there will be another place. I don't believe that the world is so big, there won't be a way. She smiled at the beasts. It's been hard on you all these days. I'll reward you all when we get back. You, don't wait anymore. We haven't had a good fight for a long time. It'll be great if you can let us have a good fight. Little Seven said. Little Seven, you're still talking. The last time you went alone to take care of the Cloud Cave people. You're still complaining that you haven't fought for a long time. Yiguang said. Yiguang, do you want to exchange pointers with me? Little Seven shook her fist at Yiguang. Yiguang shrunk his neck. He didn't have the guts to fight with Little Seven. Didn't the Divine Devil Valley people just come to the valley? Aren't you busy with the valley's matters? What are you doing here? Thousand Resonance asked. I was chatting with Master just now. I just remembered that I haven't used the thing that Auntie Fong gave me. Sima Yuyue said, Auntie Ling, she mentioned it before, but I forgot about it. Now that I have time, I'm here to see what it is. Little Spirit, you've kept it right? Little Spirit nodded. With a thought, a box appeared in his hand. For you. He threw the box to Sima Yuyue. Quickly open it and see what's inside. Feng Ruyan's identity was extraordinary. The gift she gave must be very rare. Sima Yuyue realized that there was a layer of restriction on the box which prevented people from opening it. But this restriction wasn't difficult. She opened the box with some effort. It's purple. What a dense aura. When the beasts saw what was inside, they were all shocked. Even Sima Yuyue stopped breathing. There was a purple crystal lying in the box. Every corner of the crystal was shining with dazzling light. There was even a purple spirit liquid flowing in the middle of the crystal. Usually, most of the crystals that people saw were white. Very few of them were of other colors. But purple was even rarer. In her 2 lives, she had never seen this kind of crystal. There was a note in the box. It asked her to refine the crystal into liquid and consume it directly. It also told her that her body would suffer a certain amount of pain. Do you want to follow what it says? Little Seven asked. I think that at this time, Auntie Fong won't harm me. Sima Yuyue said, for people at her level, if she wants to kill or threaten someone, she disdains to use any methods. That's true. Due to her trust in Feng Ruyan, she refined the crystal into liquid and drank it all. When the liquid entered her body, she felt as if her entire body was being torn apart. The pain penetrated into her bones. Chapter 1391. She wanted to curse when she thought about how the paper said it would hurt a little and how she rolled on the ground. How was this a little pain? This pain was almost comparable to the pain when Qi Yan tempered her body. Unable to bear it any longer, she took out a towel and bit it to prevent herself from biting herself. She could feel that the purple Y bodies had turned into spiritual energy and began to wander around her body. Every time it flowed through a meridian, the already wide meridian would become much wider. It came to the tower pool and swam around. The spiritual energy inside became more solid. Then, it entered the blood vessels from the tendons, into the bone marrow, and finally into the bones and blood. The beasts looked at her, who was about to faint from the pain, and asked worriedly, will you be all right? I won't. Her aura is becoming steadier. Little Seven said. I can feel it too. Although her cultivation hasn't increased, I can feel that her strength has gotten stronger. Thousand Resonance said. His aura seems to have changed. What did she eat? How could it change a person's aura? After a long while, Sima Yuyue's breathing finally stabilized. At this moment, she looked as if she had just been fished out of the water. Not a single part of her body was dry. She lay on the ground weakly, and the beasts surrounded her. I feel that Yuyu's aura is similar to Aunt Fang's. Little Roar was very sensitive to auras. He sniffed Sima Yuyue's body and said. Seems like it. Little Peng said, could it be that the purple crystal has something to do with Aunt Fong? At this time, Sima Yu subconsciously moved. The aura on her body was completely retracted. She looked no different from her usual self. The aura is gone. Little Roar carefully sniffed. The aura just now was indeed gone. Yu took it back, Little Dream guessed. Yu is too tired. Let her rest. Everyone, go outside. Don't look at her. As soon as Qi Yan spoke, all the beasts left. Sima Yue tried her best to stay awake throughout the entire process. However, when the spiritual energy entered her bones and blood, she finally relaxed and fell into a deep sleep. When she woke up again, a day and night had already passed. You're awake. Little Spirit's voice sounded beside her ear. She blinked her eyes, got up from the bed and said, "Was it you who put me on the bed?" She remembered that she had fallen asleep as soon as she relaxed. At that time, she seemed to still be on the ground. Little Spirit said, "Everyone was outside. I felt that you had woken up, so I came in. How do you feel?" Sima Yue recalled the bone-piercing pain from before and moved her body, saying, "My body feels very comfortable, even better than after advancing. I feel like my strength has increased quite a bit." "Can you sense your aura?" Little Spirit reminded. Sima Yue sensed it and her eyes widened. She said in surprise, "Why is there another aura in my body?" And it was so similar to Aunt Feng and the others. Could it be that the thing I ate has something to do with Aunt Feng and the others? You don't know? Little Spirit thought that she had a good relationship with Feng Ruyen and knew something. Why don't you ask your master? He just came back from there, maybe he knows something. Sima Yue thought about it and went to take a bath before going out. When she returned to her room, only a short while had passed. She removed the barrier and went to Old Man Devil's place. Old Man Devil didn't think that she would come looking for him after parting for a short while. He was a little surprised. "Master, this disciple has something to ask of you." Seeing Old Man Devil, she went straight to the point. Old Man Devil had never seen her like this before and said, "What's wrong? Why didn't you ask just now?" "I forgot just now." Sima Yue said, "Master, are you familiar with this aura?" She released the purple aura in her body and looked at him. Seeing his shocked expression, she knew that she would most likely get the answer. "Heavens, why do I feel the aura of the Feng people on your body? It seems to be thicker than the bodyguards who protected me." Old Man Devil shouted, "I heard them say that this is the aura of the Feng people and represents their status. The thicker the aura, the higher their status. Are you from the Feng people? But aren't you from the Sima family?" Sima Yue was shocked. "Master, are you sure?" "Of course. Your master, I am not a child. I won't lie." Old Man Devil said, "Why, did something happen?" Sima Yue was silent for a while and said, "On the day of the establishment of Heartbreak Valley, Aunt Feng sent someone to send a gift. A few days ago, when Aunt Ling she came over and saw that I had reached the monarch rank, she reminded me that I could use the things inside." "A gift from the Feng people? That must be very good," Old Man Devil said. Sima Yue nodded. "After that, I found a time and opened the box to take a look. There was a purple crystal inside, and there was a note below, telling me to refine the crystal into a body and consume it. After that, I became like this. To be able to leave the Feng people's aura in your body, this crystal must be extraordinary." "That's right, there aren't many purple crystals in the entire mainland. I think that even the Feng people don't have many either." Old Man Devil sighed. Aunt Feng. Sima Yue could feel the changes in her body. Not only her aura, even her meridians and her spiritual power had been transformed. Now that you have the Feng people's aura, if you encounter danger in the future, as long as you release your aura, you will be fine. Old Man Devil said. So exaggerated? Sima Yue was astonished. That's because you don't know the status of the Feng people. Old Man Devil looked at his precious disciple, wondering if he should tell her about the Feng people. But thinking about it, she was still a distance away from that level. If she wanted to tell her, Feng Ruyen would naturally tell her. After thinking it through, he patted her shoulder and said, I think that your Aunt Feng really likes you, that's why she gave you such a precious thing. It's like an invisible protection. Feng people. Sima Yuyue muttered, I will find a way to heal Aunt Feng's injuries as soon as possible. You've always been a good child. Old Man Devil was very gratified. She wasn't the kind of person who only enjoyed the kindness of others. If others treated her well, she would treat them even better. But she wouldn't be kind to others, and she wouldn't be soft-hearted to those who hurt her. Vice Valley Lord, the Valley Lord is asking you to go over. Someone shouted from outside the courtyard. It should be Feng, asking me to go over to discuss the future. Then I won't disturb Master's rest. You should recover first. After we've finished discussing and everyone has recovered, we'll go and find White Cloud D for revenge. We'll definitely make them pay with their blood. Chapter 1392. Sima Yuyue came to Shimen Feng's courtyard, and the person who led the way directly took her to the living room. When she went in, she realized that Bai Sheng and the rest were also inside. Feng, why did you call me here? Sima Yuyue came to the seat beside Shimen Feng and sat down. Feng Ji and the others talked about the situation of the battle, but there wasn't much useful information. I called you here to ask if you have discovered anything, or if the people from Divine Devil Valley have discovered anything. Shimen Feng said. The only time we interacted with them was when we were fighting. Like them, I don't have much information, Sima Yuyue answered. Then we still know nothing about them. Bai Xing said. It's not like we don't know anything. At least we know their general combat strength. Sima Yuyue said, the people we choose to attack later can't be weaker than this level. You're right. As long as we have absolute power, defeating them won't be a problem. Shimen Feng said, however, before we attack, we still have to send people to check on them. There's no need. We might not be able to find any useful information if we send someone. Sima Yuyue said, get someone to bring some scarlet bees over and let them investigate. It'll be easier. All right. Boss, how long are they going to stay here? Dai Yi asked with a frown, thinking that his courtyard was full of people and that woman was always asking him questions. They should be heading back after they've repaired the Divine Devil Valley. Sima Yuyue said. Seeing Dai Yi's strange expression, he asked, what's wrong? Is there a conflict? Actually, there wasn't any conflict, it's just that. Dai Yi suddenly paused, as if he had thought of something that annoyed him. But what? Everyone rarely saw him like this. Nothing. Really? Really? Everyone obviously had a look of, who would believe you, and said to Ni who was beside him, Ni, you speak. Hee, boss, it's like this. Previously, when Dai Yi was in the Divine Devil Valley, he saved a lady. In the end, that lady was mesmerized by him saving the damsel in distress. It was love at first sight, and now she's always pestering him. The smile on Ni's face was infuriating no matter how you looked at it. Someone has fallen in love with him, that's a good thing. You're not young anymore. It's time for you to start a family. Now that you've met a girl who likes you, you should give in to her. Sima Yuyue teased him seriously. Boss, don't listen to his nonsense. Dai Yi said, it's that woman who keeps talking about saving her life. I'm so annoyed by her. Of course not. I just saw you and her together before the meeting. The two of you were talking and laughing. Alright, I think you're interested in her. Are you afraid that the longer you interact with her, the more you'll like her? Ni said with a grin. Sixth brother, I think you're itching for a beating. Do you want to spar with me? Dai Yi glared at him. You don't have to be embarrassed. As the first one among us 10 brothers to have a crush, we will support you. Isn't that right, Kongren? Kongren nodded and said, I don't mind having a sister-in-law. It's hard to imagine how your family will look like in the future. Old Bai also joined in. You guys. Dai E glared at them and said, we're discussing serious matters. Don't be funny. We're discussing serious matters too. Sima Yuyue said, we're together. Your marriage is also the valley's serious matter. Boss. Dai E looked at Sima Yuyue. If she continued talking, he would look for the ground and hide in it. Sima Yuyue laughed and said, all right, I won't tease you anymore. But it's not possible for them to leave earlier. After all, the Divine Devil Valley hasn't recovered yet. It will take some time for it to recover. Moreover, the focus will be on dealing with White Cloud D recently. The reconstruction will be slower. The Divine Devil Valley has been destroyed to such an extent. Can it be rebuilt? NINE asked. That depends on Master and the others. Anyway, I'm just a junior valley master. Sima Yuyue shrugged. It's good that you're reliable during crucial moments. Shi Chen said. If it wasn't for her, the junior valley master, the Divine Devil Valley wouldn't be able to escape this disaster. After that, Sima Yuyue called out a lot of scarlet bees and sent someone to bring them to White Cloud D's territory. In the following days, she spent most of her time in her own courtyard. She helped Sima Lu Xian recuperate while sorting out the news from the scarlet bees. Then she passed it to Shiman Feng and Liang Wu Ming. Old Man Devil would sometimes come over to check on Wu Lingyu's situation. When he saw the thick stack of news that she sorted out every day, he knew that it was all from the scarlet bees. He still remembered how shocked he was when he first found out that she had scarlet bees. He got a bottle of scarlet honey and she gave him some scarlet bees. He was so happy that he couldn't find North. Looking at it now, he was so easily satisfied back then. Sima Yuyue saw that Old Man Devil's eyes kept flashing. She didn't know what he was thinking about. She couldn't sort out the news under his stare, so she put down the pen in her hand and asked, Master, are you not going to see Senior Brother this time? Old Man Devil came back to his senses and said seriously, I'm not here to see him this time. I'm here to find you. You come here every day. What do you want to talk to me about today? Do you know the situation in the valley recently? Old Man Devil asked. Valley? Divine Devil Valley? I don't care about the things there. I don't know what you're talking about. Sima Yuyue said. It's not Divine Devil Valley. It's here. It's about Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley. Old Man Devil said. Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley? Sima Yuyue was a little surprised. I haven't been out recently and haven't asked about the news here. What's wrong? Both sides don't get along well? No, both sides get along well. Old Man Devil said. It wasn't just good, it was good beyond everyone's expectations. Since Divine Devil Valley was called Divine Devil Valley, it meant that they didn't have a clear view of right and wrong. Everything depended on their mood and was very casual. And the people in Heartbreak Valley, except for the Shiman family, were almost all from Blood Fiend City. People who used to live on the edge of a knife were much more forthright. When both sides got along, they found that they were very compatible. And because there was Sima Yuyue who they both admired, it could be said that they were getting more and more congenial. Sima Yuyue saw that he was hesitating and said, Master, if there's anything you want to say, just say it. Actually, this isn't what I want to say. They asked me to ask for your opinion. Old Man Devil declared. Sima Yuyue smiled and said, I know. Say it. That, they said, can Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley be combined? Old Man Devil finally said the purpose of this visit. Chapter 1393. Sima Yuyue blinked in disbelief when she heard what he said. Copy URL access, Master, what did you say? The combined forces of the two valleys? Didn't that mean fusion? Would the Divine Devil Valley agree? It's not my idea either. It's the idea of those guys down there. Old Man Devil continued, recently, the disciples of the two valleys got along very well. Later on, I don't know who mentioned that the Divine Devil Valley is not suitable for people to live in, so why not just stay here? Speaking of this, he could not help but praise Sima Yue for being so good at choosing the location. With the natural barrier outside, it would not be easy for others to attack. It was no wonder that the people from Divine Devil Valley fell in love with this place. If Sima Yue knew what he was thinking, she would give them a speechless look. Back then, in order to research the antidote here, she had spent a lot of effort. In the end, she had to cooperate with Shi Qianji to get it done. Without the antidote, who would be able to walk around freely? Master, did Martial Uncle send you here? Sima Yue asked. Yes. That group of old fellows felt embarrassed and said that she was his disciple, but he had to say it. Then do you know much about Heartbreak Valley? Sima Yue asked again. Old Man Devil paused. Let's put it this way, Master. You know that Feng, and I have a special relationship. When we first established this Heartbreak Valley, it was for revenge. Sima Yue continued, so, the people we chose were all from Blood Fiend City and they had placed their lives in my hands. I give them a stable life and keep them safe, but at the same time, when I need them, they must rush forward. Therefore, when everyone entered the valley, they swore not to do anything that would harm me and Heartbreak Valley. She didn't know if Old Man Devil was stunned by her imposing manner or her words, but he didn't say anything for a while. Sima Yue continued, so, Master, it's not that I don't agree with the merger of the two forces, but the Divine Devil Valley might not be able to accept these requests. After all, no one wants to be bound by an oath. Your idea is really good. With the oath, the disciples in the valley naturally wouldn't dare to betray the sect. However, ordinary powers don't have these things. I'm only like this because of special circumstances. Sima Yue said, although I became the Junior Valley Master of the Divine Devil Valley because of Master and the Blood Ring, I can't force the disciples of the valley because of that. Master, please convey my intentions to Martial Uncle and everyone else. Alright, then I'll go back and tell them. Old Man Devil said as he left. Sima Yue watched Old Man Devil's back as he left and sighed in her heart. It was actually a good thing for the two forces to merge at this time. However, if they had to swear an oath because of this, they probably wouldn't agree. However, she underestimated her position in the valley. If it was only the attraction of Heartbreak Valley to them, the disciples of Divine Devil Valley might have retreated after knowing that they had to swear an oath to enter the sect. However, someone said that if Sima Yue had to choose between the two valleys, which one would she choose? The answer was self-evident. She had been running around in Heartbreak Valley for so many years and built up this force single-handedly. How could she give up Heartbreak Valley? Therefore, she would most likely give up Divine Devil Valley and not be the Junior Valley Master of Divine Devil Valley. Once they thought of this situation, those who were still uncomfortable with the oath also let it go and expressed that they didn't care. Moreover, the oath wasn't too much at all. It was just to make them swear that they wouldn't do anything wrong to the valley. There were no other restrictions. Those who had experienced so many things were definitely loyal and devoted people. Naturally, they wouldn't betray. However, there were also people who made a request. It couldn't be said that Divine Devil Valley joined Heartbreak Valley. Instead, it was the reorganization and integration of the two forces to form a new force. When Sima Yue heard the news from Old Man Devil, her eyes widened and shouted in disbelief, "No way. Are they that crazy?" That's because you don't know your position in their hearts. Old Man Devil snorted, "I don't know who spread the news that you want to give up the Junior Valley Master position and leave Divine Devil Valley. You will only be the Vice Valley Lord of Heartbreak Valley in the future." Those guys couldn't accept it when they heard it. In the end, everyone agreed to the reorganization proposal. How is it? Things are already like this. What do you say now? This. Sima Yue was speechless. How could such news spread? I thought this was just a joke, so I didn't discuss it with Feng, and the rest. The people of Heartbreak Valley are still very willing. Old Man Devil continued, I think they must have already known about this news. Sima Yue also felt that if this news spread among the disciples, then as a manager, it was impossible for them not to know about it. They didn't look for her. She guessed that they wanted to leave this matter to her to decide. I'll go out and take a look. Sima Yue tidied up the news, then went out with Old Man Devil. Heartbreak Valley was indeed different from before. With more people from Divine Devil Valley, it was livelier. People from Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley could be seen everywhere. They were either sparring or drinking and chatting together. It wasn't an ordinary harmony. They're getting along so well. She was surprised. You're busy in your courtyard all day. Of course you don't know. I think they're birds of a feather. Old Man Devil crossed his arms in front of his chest and snorted. Cough cough. What he meant was that the people of Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley were jackals of the same tribe. That was why they could walk together. She walked around. Other than Dai Yi being chased by a girl all over the valley, she didn't see any disharmonious scenes. Alright, I'll go and discuss with Feng, and the rest. Then I'll go and discuss with Senior Uncle. That means you agree with me. Then I'll go and tell them. The two of them separated in the valley. Sima Yue sent a notice to all the managers on the way to the official meeting hall of Heartbreak Valley, asking them to go for a meeting immediately. When she arrived, the others were there too. They were all waiting for her in the meeting hall. What do you think about the Divine Devil Valley? She went straight to the point and asked. I think it's pretty good. Divine Devil Valley is very powerful, especially with a lot of professional masters. And this is what we're lacking. If we can merge together, our power will definitely go up another level. Bai Xing said. Old Bai, you're the one who spread the news that I'll push down the Junior Valley Master of Divine Devil Valley, right? Sima Yue suddenly asked. Chapter 1394. Bai Xing didn't object to her guesses, and only chuckled twice. Boss, actually, Old Bai didn't do anything. He only asked someone to make a guess when those people were chatting. Later on, I don't know what happened, but the Divine Devil Valley's side said that you're leaving the Divine Devil Valley. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. Did these guys dare to say that they did not spread the news by making use of the fact that rumors were spreading? Do you really plan to merge with them? She asked. Feng, do you know about this? Sister, don't be angry. I know about this too. Shimen Feng continued, furthermore, this matter was brought up by the Divine Devil Valley's people. Old Bai was merely pushing the boat along with the current. Besides, the current situation was so chaotic. After merging, they would be stronger and more capable of protecting themselves. Besides, you can't let go of that side, can you? Sima Yue sighed. What Shimen Feng said was right. Although she didn't have much contact with Divine Devil Valley after coming to this continent, but every bit of contact was warm. When they were in the Ninth Star Ocean, they heard that she went to the Violet Water Dragon clan. Liang Wuming followed her without hesitation. Although he said it was for the sake of her master, his concern was genuine. The people of Divine Devil Valley respected her and cared for her, even if they had never met her before. Such a Divine Devil Valley, in this chaotic world, under the situation where mysterious forces kept interfering in the middle regions, how could she let it go? Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley are not weak, but the mainland is getting more and more chaotic, and more sects are being destroyed. Although the Divine Devil Valley had an extraordinary status, it was precisely because there were so many professional masters that they were targeted by those forces. Yue, you can save them for a while, but you can't be there all the time. Bai Xing said. I understand. Sima Yue sighed again, but to let them integrate into Heartbreak Valley, I always feel like I'm letting them down. What's more, if the founder of Divine Devil Valley knew about it, I'm afraid he would crawl out of his grave and beat me up. Sister, you misunderstood what we meant. Shimen Feng explained, we didn't say to let them integrate into Heartbreak Valley. Not going to blend in? Yes. We are planning to rebuild a force. Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley will be an important part of this force. It's restructuring, not integration. Sima Yuyue was stunned and looked at them in shock. Are you really willing? If the Divine Devil Valley was integrated, then the one in charge would still be the people from Heartbreak Valley. However, if it was a reorganization, it might be different. At most, they would only have half the right to speak. This was something that not everyone could accept. We're not people who are greedy for power, so it doesn't matter if we have more or less power. Shimin Feng said. Sima Yuyue also understood that these guys were being forced to do something beyond their abilities. They had no choice but to support the entire Heartbreak Valley when they met him who didn't want to take care of these things. Since you all agree, and the other side also agrees, do as you please. After saying that, she called out to the guards outside, Men, go and invite my martial uncle and master over. It's best if you invite the hall master and the others as well. Yes, Vice Valley Lord. The people outside answered and left. After a while, Liang Wuming brought in a group of Divine Devil Valley's hall masters and elders. The meeting hall was already filled with chairs. The people from Heartbreak Valley sat on one side. After the people from Divine Devil Valley arrived, Liang Wuming sat beside Shimin Feng, and the rest of the people sat on the other side. Martial uncle, master, hall masters and elders, everyone knows why I invited you here today. Let's not beat around the bush. Sima Yuyue said with a smile, I don't know what you think about this matter. The world is so chaotic now. Our forces are neither low nor high in this chaotic world. It's best if we can form a force. Liang Wuming said. His words were similar to Bai Xing's thoughts. It seemed that this was the general trend. After that, Liang Wuming explained the thoughts of the people from Divine Devil Valley. They agreed to restructure, but they didn't agree to integrate. This was the result of their discussion. This condition was also within Heartbreak Valley's expectation and plan. So both parties reached an agreement quickly. The speed was so fast that Sima Yuyue was speechless. She looked at both parties who were talking passionately in surprise. In just a short hour, this matter was completely settled. After that, both parties looked at her who had been quiet and said, Yuyue, what do you think? They even asked her what she thought. They had already decided, and they still asked her what she thought. I don't have any opinion. You can decide on this matter. Alright, since that's the case, then we'll follow the model we discussed. Liang Wuming said. Alright. Soon, the people from Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley received the news. They said that the two forces would be combined into one force. No one would integrate with anyone, and no one would be better than anyone. Everyone would be on equal terms and help each other. As for the location, it was chosen at Heartbreak Valley. Both parties were happy. The people from Heartbreak Valley thought that with the addition of Divine Devil Valley, wouldn't there be more pills and spirit weapons in the future? And the people from Divine Devil Valley thought that since the people from Heartbreak Valley came from Blood Fiend City, their combat power would naturally be stronger than the previous Outer Valley disciples. With them, their safety would be more assured. So, everything was put on the agenda. In order to announce the integration of the two forces to the world, they decided to make a big fuss. They invited all the forces who were close to them as guests to witness their reorganization ceremony. And the matter of taking revenge on Cloud Cave was postponed. Because the disciples in the valley had to choose a mountain to build a house. They couldn't continue to live in tents after the reorganization. Cloud Cave would naturally not be able to escape once they were done with the reorganization. So, the invitations were sent out one by one. The disciples in the valley were busy with construction. For this ceremony, they even specially chose a wider valley and flattened the surrounding mountains to build a huge square. Sima Yuyue couldn't help but twitch her mouth when she looked at the almost endless square. Such a big square, it wouldn't be a problem to accommodate hundreds of thousands of people. And those poisonous creatures that originally lived in the valley were frightened by their battle array. They thought they were going to exterminate them. Fortunately, Sima Yue assured them that she wouldn't hurt them. On the contrary, she would protect them. So, under the astonished gaze of the Divine Devil Valley's disciples, the poisonous creatures in Heartbreak Valley and them lived in harmony. At this time, there was a huge commotion outside the valley. Whether they had an invitation or not, they all turned their attention to Heartbreak Valley. Chapter 1395. The whole continent knew that Cloud Cave had joined forces with a mysterious force to attack Divine Devil Valley. Quite a number of people went to observe the Divine Devil Valley. Seeing the desolation and the almost flat mountain, everyone thought that the Divine Devil Valley would definitely gnash their teeth in hatred and rage, and after a round of reorganization, they would attack back. Everyone thought that there would be another great show to watch. But now, there was a big show, but it was different from what they had expected. Divine Devil Valley was going to merge with Heartbreak Valley to form a new force. This news was too surprising. It was said that the Valley Lord of Heartbreak Valley, Shiman Feng, was assassinated and seriously injured. No one could wake him up. The power of Heartbreak Valley was used to find Sima Yue. If the Divine Devil Valley were to merge with it now, it wouldn't be a merge, but a forceful occupation. TSK, this Sima Yue was the Vice Valley Lord of Heartbreak Valley. If she came back and found out that Divine Devil Valley had swallowed Heartbreak Valley, who knew what expression she would have? As the Junior Valley Master of Divine Devil Valley, would she seek justice for Heartbreak Valley? Of course, the premise was that she could come back alive. She had never disappeared from the public eye for so long. Perhaps she really was dead. Many people were excited when they thought of this possibility. They couldn't afford to offend her, but it would be good to know that she was dead. Ha ha ha. Moreover, the Heartbreak Valley that she had created with her own hands was about to be annexed by her sect. Just thinking about it made her happy. When Sima Yue heard the news in Heartbreak Valley, she could not help but twitch her mouth. Bei Gong, am I that hateful? She touched her face. She didn't seem to have done anything that would incur the wrath of the gods, did she? Why were there so many people who wished for him to be in trouble? Bei Gong Tang was currently sipping tea with her. The two beauties sat under a large locust tree at the peak of the mountain, smelling the faint fragrance of the flowers and tasting the fragrant flower tea. They chatted and laughed casually, and the disciples passing by couldn't help but take a few more glances. Bei Gong Tang saw her reaction after hearing the news about the scarlet bees, and laughed out loud. Do you think you haven't offended enough people? And some people, even if you didn't offend them, they wouldn't want you to be better than others. I don't think I've offended many people. Those people that I taught a lesson to were asking for it. Sima Yue snorted. Anyway, in their eyes, you're the one who's wrong. You just can't stand it. Bei Gong Tang said. You're right. Those people's thinking is different from ours. Sima Yue sighed. Boom. A shattering sound came from a distance. She looked over and pursed her lips. Those people are really passionate. That's right. Speaking of this, Bei Gong Tang wanted to laugh. In the past, I didn't realize that you were so charming. Those disciples were actually willing to form a new power for you. My charm has always been very high. Otherwise, why would I be able to lure you guys to follow me? Sima Yue said with a smile. Until now, she still remembered that when she was in Dongchen country, she had walked out of the city and saw a few fellows waiting by the roadside. At that time, he had nothing in the eyes of others, but these guys clearly knew that he was going to save his grandfather. They clearly knew that the road ahead was dangerous, but they still followed him without hesitation. Did the Guild Alliance invite them? Bei Gong Tang's words interrupted her memories. They invited them. Sima Yue said, at first, I didn't plan to invite them. However, they said that I'm still a figurehead of the Guild Alliance. If I didn't invite them, those old fellows would probably make a fuss again. I don't know if those mysterious powers dealing with the Guild Alliance and us are the same. Bei Gong Tang said. I don't think so. Sima Yue told her about Shiman Feng's analysis that day. If it was the same power, then this power was too strong. It was so strong that it was terrifying. Furthermore, according to the news that she had received recently, there were other mysterious powers interfering in other places. They even covered the entire inner regions. This kind of power was definitely not something that a single power could possess. Especially, they could do it without letting the people in the inner regions find out about their identities. It's really chaotic recently. I don't know how it will develop. Bei Gong Tang said worriedly. The powers in the inner regions are either too ambitious or they're snatching resources from the outer regions. Look at these people, it's all because they can't satisfy their desires. Sima Yu sighed. Only someone like you would be so lazy, pushing everything to the back of your mind. To be able to let you be a figurehead of the Valley Lord, it took a lot of effort from both sides to get you. I'm not interested in managing others. I also don't feel that others are under my feet. I've never been interested in power. Sima Yu said, there's a saying since ancient times, life is precious, love is even more valuable. If it's for freedom, both can be given up. Hee, others can't be as free and easy as you. Hee, Sima Yu felt that she really didn't like these things. No matter if it was the Alchemist Guild or the Pill Subdivision, or even the Heartbreak Valley in the past, she was always a figurehead. Even if it was reorganized now, she was still only a Deputy Valley Lord. Moreover, it was a Deputy Valley Lord who didn't have to do anything and only had a reputation. Initially, she wasn't even willing to do this. However, they all said earnestly, Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley can be merged because of her. She's the link in the middle. If she doesn't care about anything, it's not good for stabilizing people's hearts. With such a dignified reason, she couldn't reject it even if she wanted to. Fortunately, everyone understood her and gave her a Deputy Valley Lord who didn't have to care about anything. As long as she provided people, she didn't have to do anything. Even if you don't do anything, it's good to just stand there. Sigh, she let out a long sigh. She didn't expect that she would be a mascot one day. 3 months passed in the blink of an eye. The appearance of Heartbreak Valley changed greatly. Houses sprang up like bamboo shoots after the rain on each mountain. Each hall had its own small area. They were not far from each other, but they did not disturb each other. Not only that, they also built some houses on the cliff outside Heartbreak Valley. No, it was a group of houses. It was estimated that tens of thousands of people could live in it. Sima Yu didn't go out before, but she could imagine how magnificent the group of buildings would be. In these 2 days, the place that was comparable to a small town gradually became lively. Because there were only 3 or 4 days left before the reorganization meeting, many people from different forces had begun to come here. If it was a normal invitation, it was estimated that everyone would only arrive the day before the conference. However, they were too curious about Heartbreak Valley. They were too curious about this matter, so they came early. They wanted to see what Heartbreak Valley looked like. In the end, they weren't allowed to enter. They all settled in the houses outside the valley, saying that they could only enter on the day itself. Their curiosity couldn't be satisfied, so some people began to court death. Chapter 1396. On this day, it was Shi Chen's turn to be in charge of the safety of the guests outside the valley. He had just changed shifts with NINE and was currently patrolling around to understand the situation. Suddenly, the sound of an argument could be heard from a small courtyard. Since you invited us here, you should let us in. Don't you think it's not good to reject us here? That's right. What you're doing is really too rude. You'd better deliver the antidote to us immediately, or don't blame us for being impolite. Dear guests, please do not be angry. We enter the valley at the same time, boom. Bang. Before that person could finish his words, he heard the sound of a beating coming from inside. Obviously, the one being beaten was a disciple of the valley. Elder Shi, they are from the Zhang clan. The guard beside Shi Chen said. Let's go and take a look. Shi Chen quickly walked over and pushed open the door. He saw the disciple who had been beaten to the ground. Two men in green robes stood to the side. There was another person beside the disciple who had been beaten and was about to continue beating him. The people in the courtyard did not expect someone to suddenly barge in. The people who came 2 days ago would knock on the door first. Who are you? Shurchen glanced at the person on the ground and took a few steps forward to stand in front of him, separating him from the people of Zhang Yi clan. The other people who followed them and went to help the people on the ground up. What happened? Shurchen asked. Elder Shur, they insist on wanting the valley's detoxification pill, saying that they want to go in and take a look. The person who was beaten said. The 3 men in green robes looked at Shurchen, raised their chins, and said arrogantly, Elder? Then your status shouldn't be low. We want to go into the valley for a tour, please arrange it. The invitation clearly states that the guests will only be invited into the valley on the day of the conference. Therefore, forgive us for not being able to make this exception for you. Shurchen said indifferently. So, you're not willing? The man in the middle asked in a deep voice. These are the rules. Shurchen was still the same. He didn't change because of the other party's anger. Good. What an arrogant divine devil valley. Aren't you afraid that we will spread your name? Are you threatening us? Shurchen smiled, but there was no warmth in his eyes. We're not threatening you. It's you who don't know etiquette and treat your guests like this. If you don't give us an explanation today, then don't blame us for being impolite. Really? The smile on Shurchen's face slowly faded, and his gaze gradually turned cold. For a nominal elder like you, if I tell your superiors, you will be stripped of your position, right? If you don't want us to tell anyone about this, then obediently send the antidote over and take us to the valley for a tour. Then we'll let bygones be bygones. The gazes of the people behind Shurchen changed as they looked at the 3 of them. It was as if they were looking at fools. Where did these idiots come from? Were they really sure that they wouldn't offend the guests at this time? Are you done? Shurchen looked at them. If you're done, then stay here. If you dare to treat my disciples like this again, then you don't have to attend the banquet 2 days later. What do you mean? It's literally what it means. If you don't have enough IQ, don't show it off. Being scolded like this, those people were angry and shouted, You're looking for death. No, I've never looked for death. Shurchen said, but if others want to look for death, I won't object. Men. Following a loud shout, a group of people ran out and surrounded them. Senior brother, what's wrong? These people came to provoke us and beat up our brothers. Everyone must teach them a lesson today. Senior brother, these people are from Divine Devil Valley. They are the masters here. It's not good for us to do this, right? Someone said softly. It seemed that there was still someone with brains. What master? The so-called senior brother scolded, they're just a few patrollers in the valley. They don't have high positions. Even if we beat them up, Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley wouldn't dare to say anything. That's right. We're guests that they invited. Would they do anything to us just because we beat up a few disciples? Yes. Since they don't want to be masters, then don't blame us. By then, they might even thank us for helping them teach these blind people a lesson. The people from Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley were enraged when they heard what they said. Elder Shurchen had no position. He wanted to teach them a lesson on behalf of the valley. Did they really think that they could do whatever they wanted just because they were guests? And those people rushed up and wanted to deal with them. Although you're guests, I have to say that even if you're looking for death, you shouldn't look for it this way. Shurchen said and quickly attacked those people. Don't be fooled by his gentle appearance. His strength wasn't low. Especially since everyone didn't expect him to make a move. They were stunned for a moment. By the time everyone reacted, Zhang Yi's sex people were all defeated. How dare you hit us? The people on the ground covered their chests or stomachs as they stared at Shurchen with murderous eyes. Hitting you is a light punishment. Shurchen patted the non-existent dust on his clothes and said faintly. You beat up my disciples as you wish. Do you really think that we can't do anything to you? What kind of hospitality is this? The people on the ground shouted when they saw more and more people coming to watch. The people outside who didn't know the truth had different expressions when they saw Shurchen and gang hitting the guests. They're too arrogant. As the host, how can they attack the guests? That's right. They're too arrogant. No matter what, they're still guests. How can the host hit the guests? If they have such an attitude, can we still come out after entering the valley? This. Zhang Yi-sek's people heard the commotion outside and were pleased with themselves. As long as everyone stood on their side, Divine Devil Valley would become unreasonable even if they were reasonable. By then, would they still be afraid that the higher-ups wouldn't punish them? Are you scared? That eldest senior brother looked at Shurchen. If you're afraid, then quickly kneel down and kowtow to me. Maybe I'm kind-hearted and when your valley deals with you later, I can even put in a good word for you. Oh, is that so? Shurchen sneered. What's going on? Ying Baichuan's voice came from the back of the crowd. Everyone opened up a path for him and he brought the patrol team in. Junior Valley Master, these people are too arrogant. We were just asking them nicely and they actually beat us up. Divine Devil Valley has such a big temper. Just anyone dared to beat us up. Shouldn't you give us an explanation? Reading background default settings: classic light blue, classic light gray, classic green, classic bright yellow, dark blue, ocean, autumn green, classic simple, elegant, red powder, aristocratic, family, red talk, thick sea, vast sky, broken heart, past, snow white, world gray, world, font color default settings: white, red, green, blue, brown, font size default settings: small, medium, large, speed 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 0, mouse scroll description 1 to 10, 1 is the slowest, 10 is the fastest. Chapter 1397. Many people knew Ying Baichuan. Since he was the Junior Valley Master of the Divine Devil Valley, even if the two forces merged, his position in the new force wouldn't be low. Now that he was here, those people were doomed. If he dared to hit a guest before the banquet, he might be expelled from the valley. Ying Baichuan looked at the people in the courtyard and said in a deep voice, "What kind of explanation do you want? This person actually dared to beat us up, at least break his legs. Then banish him from the valley." That's right. Someone chimed in, "We are your guests. I was actually beaten up by your people in your territory. This won't sound good if word gets out. Junior Valley Master, you have always been fair and just. I don't think you will disappoint everyone, right?" Zhang Yi-sek's senior brother said. When Ying Baichuan came in front of Shurchen, everyone thought that he was going to question him and punish him. They were all waiting for Shurchen's tragic end. However, Ying Baichuan bowed in front of him and said, "Baichuan greets Elder Shur." Elder? Was he really an elder? Isn't it just in name? Zhang Yi-sek's people shouted. What title? Ying Baichuan frowned. Isn't that so? Will you let the elders with real power in the valley do the security work? Then I'm really sorry to disappoint you. Shurchen smiled faintly. Don't you know that Heartbreak Valley used to have 10 elders? The 10 great elders of Heartbreak Valley. Aren't they the 10 great villains back then? Could he be one of them? That's right. The person behind Shurchen said. Elder Shur, what exactly is going on? Ying Baichuan naturally wouldn't listen to the other party's words and turned to ask Shurchen. The invitation clearly states that you can only enter the valley on the day of the banquet, but these people insist on going in early. When I arrived, they were asking a disciple for an antidote. Shurchen said, they dared to hit my valley's disciples. I didn't kill them immediately because they were guests. The onlookers outside suddenly realized that these people were actually plucking the fur from the tiger. No wonder they were beaten up. Who in the mainland didn't know that Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley were people who were protective of their own people? They actually dared to beat up their people. Just beating them up was already considered good. When Ing Baichuan and the people who came with him heard that their people were beaten, Wei said with a straight face, "What do you guys say?" The people from Zhang Yi's sect thought that Shi Chen was an insignificant person and others might not believe what he said. So even if they caused trouble, as long as they insisted on being reasonable, Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley would definitely apologize to them. But who would have thought that Shi Chen would actually be one of the 10 great elders? Moreover, he was once one of the 10 great evils. Who hadn't heard of their reputation? Would he dare to lie now? Elder Shi, Junior Valley Master, this is actually a misunderstanding. The other party finally chose to give in. We were too curious about this Heartbreak Valley, so we were impulsive and wanted to go in early. We didn't want to hit him. We just accidentally touched him when we were talking. His ability to lie through his teeth wasn't weak at all. Ing Baichuan didn't believe his nonsense and said to Shi Chen, "Elder Shi, how do you think we should deal with this?" Although these people were in the wrong first, they were beaten up. They are guests invited by the valley. I think we should just let it go. If there's a second time. Before Shi Chen finished speaking, he felt a movement in his space ring. He took out the Sun Mother Stone and inserted spiritual energy. Sima Yoyue's voice came from inside. "Elder Shi. Vice Valley Lord, what's the matter?" Shi Chen asked, but he could roughly guess. "Since Zhang Yi's sect dared to beat up our disciples in our territory, I think they don't want to be on good terms with us anymore. Since that's the case, take back their invitation and chase them out of the town. Don't let them come near again. Also, who said that he wanted to break your legs? Break his legs and throw them out. At the same time, let those restless people know that the rules of Paramount Valley aren't set for nothing. Our disciples can't be bullied by anyone." Shi Chen's greeting had already revealed the identity of the person who spoke. He didn't expect her to directly give the order. Paramount Valley? Was she talking about their reorganized force? This name was really arrogant. Shi Chen kept the Sun Mother Stone and said to the people beside him, "Did you hear what the Vice Valley Lord said? I don't need to repeat it, right?" Yes. Those disciples didn't expect to hear Sima Yoyue's voice. Her words were more sacred than an imperial edict to them. She said to throw them out, who would say no? Even Shi Chen, who wanted to let this matter go for the sake of the big picture, was smiling now. He was in a good mood. Zhang Yi's sect saw Heartbreak Valley's disciples surrounding them and shouted, "You can't do this. We are your guests. It was you who invited us here. Our Vice Valley Lord said that you are no longer our guests. Now, please leave this place." "No. You can't do this." The disciples of Heartbreak Valley said, "Please," but their actions were not ambiguous at all. After beating the person up, they directly carried the person out of the town. After flying far away, they threw the person out. Get lost. You better take a detour when you see Paramount Valley's disciples. You can't afford to offend even the lowest level disciples. When the onlookers saw that they actually threw those people out, their opinions of them changed quite a bit. They didn't hesitate to offend their invited guests for the sake of their disciples who were beaten up. Not everyone had such domineering attitude. But those people asked for it. They actually did such a brainless thing. It would be weird if they didn't dare to leave. When those people were discussing this matter, many of them had the same idea, but they killed the idea of investing in them in the cradle. It was better not to touch the reverse scale of such a strong force that had rules and was protective of their own. Otherwise, they would end up like those people. 2 days later, Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley's reorganization officially arrived. Early in the morning, each force received the antidote pills. The number of pills was exactly the number of people they had. Dear guests, the antidote pills in your hands are temporary antidotes. It can ensure your safety for 2 days. A steward said, after everyone enters, there will naturally be someone to lead the way for you. Everyone, please. No one responded immediately after the steward finished speaking. Although many of them had already taken the pills, they still felt weak as they stood at the edge of the cliff and looked down at the valley filled with poison. What if the antidote didn't work? Chapter 1398. Everyone, please. The person in charge said when he saw that no one was moving. This. Steward Yuan, is this antidote really effective? Someone asked the question in a low voice. That's right. If this pill doesn't work, won't we all die after we go in? Since someone said so, the others also had the same idea. If Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley wanted to kill them, as long as they let them in and gave them the wrong antidote, would they still be able to come out alive? Everyone, all of you are from the Divine Devil Valley. Do you think that our Divine Devil Valley would do such a thing? Yuan Haibin said. Ha ha ha. Old Yuan, don't be angry. Someone laughed and walked over. It's the Kong Valley. I didn't think that even the Kong Valley would be invited. I heard that the relationship between Kong Valley and Heartbreak Valley is very good. They will definitely come at this time. Kong Valley Lord, I didn't think that you would personally come. Yuan Haibin cupped his hands towards Kong Jingxin. Dad, let's go in quickly. Kong Sangyi held Kong Jingxin's arm and said. I know you're anxious to see that kid. Kong Jingxin doted on his daughter very much and said, Old Yuan, we'll go in first. See you later. Void Valley Lord, please. The people of the Kong Valley took out the antidote and ate it. Then, they sat on the flying beasts that were flying at the edge of the cliff and flew towards the bottom of the valley. When the people at the cliff saw that the Kong Valley people did not react to the poison barrier, they knew that the antidote was real. Thus, they all took out the antidote and ate it. Then, they sat on the flying beasts that were arranged and entered the valley. The flying beast took the people directly to the designated location and then returned to pick up the next wave of people. The arriving guests were welcomed by the disciples and brought into the sphere of influence of Heartbreak Valley. Paramount Valley. Someone noticed that not far from where they were, there was a stone tablet with these 3 words engraved on it. After Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley merged, they formed a new force, Paramount Valley. This way please. After a brief introduction, the disciple led everyone to the huge open-air plaza. It was really called Paramount Valley. However, Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley were both important forces in the middle region. Now that they had merged, their strength was close to the inner region's forces. It wasn't an exaggeration to call them that. Excuse me, where are we going now? Can we take a look around the valley? Someone asked curiously. Let's go to the plaza now. In a while, we will invite everyone to witness the fusion of our 2 forces. Our Valley Lord, Vice Valley Lord, Elders, and Hall Masters will come to meet everyone. Then we can't visit? You can visit it. The disciple who led the way explained, in the morning, you will participate in our succession ceremony. At noon, there will be a light meal. In the afternoon, you can move freely in the valley. In the evening, there will be a grand banquet. Hearing such an arrangement, everyone was not in a hurry to visit. They followed the guide to the square, but along the way, they also saw a lot of unique scenery in Heartbreak Valley. Although everyone in the valley had been busy these few months, Sima Yuyue was still doing her own things leisurely. She was treating her father's illness, looking for a way to save him, collecting information about the situation outside the valley and so on. Every time those people who were so busy saw her so leisurely, they were envious. If they had known earlier, they would have found an idle job that didn't need to work. Sigh, without that diamond drill, they couldn't take on that kind of porcelain work. Without her appeal, they could only accept their fate and work. Vice Valley Lord, the presidents of the Union Alliance are here. The Valley Lord invites you to go over. Sima Yuyue just finished giving Sima Lu Xian acupuncture treatment. When she heard the announcement outside, she said, I got it. I'll go over right away. Then she said to Sima Lu Xian, Father, you're not in good health. Don't go. Okay. Sima Lu Xian nodded. Today, many forces from the inner region would come. If they knew that he was back, it would probably cause another storm. If it was in the past, he wouldn't be afraid. But now he didn't have the strength. If something happened, it would only implicate his family. It was better to avoid it. Now, he didn't have the capital to be arrogant. Sima Yuyue saw the disappointment in his eyes. She put her hands around his neck and comforted him. Father, don't worry. I will find a way to cure you. When you're better, we still have to look for mother together. Besides, didn't great-grandfather also send a message saying that he will find a way to help you recover your strength? Okay, father believes in you. Okay, today is such an important day. Go and do your work. Sima Lu Xian patted her hand. Okay. I have a lot of books here. Father, if you're bored, you can read some books. Help me look after Ling Yu while you're at it. Sima Yuyue said a few words before leaving her courtyard. When she came to the living room, Xia Chang Tian and the others were already there. President, why are you all here together? She casually found a seat and sat down. Humph, you rascal. You didn't even tell us that you're back. Fortunately, you told us about this. Otherwise, we will definitely settle the score with you. Xia Chang Tian snorted. President, I just came back not long ago. Then, I encountered these things. I'm too busy. Don't be calculative with me. Sima Yuyue said with a smile. But this is too sudden. Why did you all suddenly think of merging into one force? Fang Ming asked. Isn't it because of those mysterious forces? Sima Yuyue told him about what happened before. At the same time, she expressed her own thoughts. Those mysterious people didn't belong to the same force. There should be different forces interfering in the inner region's matters. They shouldn't be the same force. The force that attacked us previously had a lot of their strongholds destroyed by us recently. They shouldn't have the energy to deal with you all. Xiang Yang said, the inner region hasn't been peaceful recently. Humph, those old fellows in the inner region are always restless. Let's see if they can still be so arrogant after we destroy their nest. Presidents, let's not talk about this now. The conference is about to start. I'll bring you all to the venue first. Sima Yuyue said. Okay, we'll discuss these things after you're done. Xia Chang Tian said. This group of old fellows saw that she was back. As expected, they wouldn't let her go. Sima Yuyue brought them to the plaza. When they were going down the mountain, they bumped into Qin Mo and the others who were late. Thus, they brought the Qin family along. When they arrived, the plaza was already filled with people. All the seats were filled and they were just waiting for the ceremony to begin. Sima Yuyue led them to the prepared seats. Before she walked to her seat, she saw Shimen Feng, Liang Wuming and the rest of the elders walking in. Chapter 1399. The moment Liang Wuming and the others entered, the entire plaza quieted down. Bai Sheng, an old man devil, stood on the stage and waved to the people below. The square quietened down completely. Thank you, everyone, for coming all the way here to attend our reorganization ceremony. Old Man Devil was the first to speak. I'm very happy that everyone is here to witness this day. Some time ago, the Divine Devil Valley was attacked by the Cloud Cave and the mysterious forces and suffered heavy losses. Now, more and more forces from the inner regions were interfering in the middle regions, causing a lot of bloody storms. In the face of an increasingly turbulent situation, everyone hoped to increase their strength. It was the same for Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley. After a discussion between both parties, we have decided to form a new power and merge the disciples of the two valleys into one. Bai Xing said. That's right, as everyone knows, the Vice Valley Lord of Heartbreak Valley is also the Junior Valley Master of Divine Devil Valley. With this bond, the disciples of the two valleys wanted to further their relationship. From today onwards, there will be no Divine Devil Valley, no Heartbreak Valley, only a new force, Paramount Valley. Boom! Boom! 81 cannons sounded from outside the square. The deafening sound announced the birth of a new power. After the cannon finished firing, Bai Xing continued, Paramount Valley has two valley lords, Liang Wuming, Liang Valley Lord, and Shimen Feng, Shimen Valley Lord. Everyone should know about them. For Vice Valley Lord, 34 elders, 10 halls, and each hall. Bai Xing introduced the structure of Paramount Valley to everyone. Sima Yuyue listened to the long list of names, and for the first time, she felt that they were really powerful. However, it was boring to sit like this. After that, Liang Wuming, Shimen Feng, and the others made some simple remarks. Then, they talked about some other things, as well as the congratulatory gifts from the various forces. Ah! Sima Yuyue yawned as she sat on her seat. This process was really long. It was really tiring to just sit there and watch these things happen. After a long time, when it was close to noon, it finally ended. Everyone, we have prepared a light meal for everyone at noon. If you want to have lunch, you can follow the disciples of the valley. If you want to visit Heartbreak Valley, please find a disciple in the valley to show you around. They all have identification plates on them. Please find a disciple with an identification plate to lead them. In the evening we will have a big dinner party here. Everyone is welcome to have a taste. Oh my God, it's finally over. Sima Yuyue sat up from her seat. She felt that sitting there for half a day was more tiring than cultivating. Yu, why don't you show us around? Xia Chang Tian asked. Yuyue, look at how busy we are. I'll leave the various guild leaders in your care. Liang Wuming said. All right. Martial uncle, don't worry. Sima Yuyue replied. Everyone knew that if it was just an ordinary invitation, Xia Chang Tian and the others wouldn't have come personally. They had only come because of Sima Yuyue. Since that was the case, it was best for her to greet them. Speaking of which, these people had never been to Heartbreak Valley before. They were curious about this place. Hence, Sima Yuyue brought them around the valley. However, the places that she could go were places that ordinary guests couldn't go. Hence, no one disturbed them. I didn't expect Heartbreak Valley to be like this. The scenery is really not bad. Xue Changlin sighed. The scenery here is not bad. However, under those beautiful sceneries, there are hidden dangers. If you're not careful, you might lose your life. Sima Yuyue said. Yuyue, you gave the antidote pill to those people just like that. Aren't you afraid that they will research the antidote for Heartbreak Valley? Xia Chang Tian said worriedly. If that antidote pill was really so easy to research, I wouldn't have spent so much time and effort. Sima Yuyue said. But those people have your pill now. They might be able to deduce the real antidote pill. They won't. Sima Yuyue said with certainty. This kind of one-time use pill has no connection with our real antidote pill. Even the ingredients are different. Even if there are 7 of the same ingredients, they won't be able to think of the rest. Hence, even if they have this pill, they won't be able to deduce the real antidote. There are at least hundreds of antidotes. Only 7 of them are the same. The difference is too big. Xia Chang Tian sighed. Otherwise, why would one last for 1 or 2 days while the other lasts for 3 to 5 years? Sima Yuyue smiled. If we easily hand our lifeline to others, then what's the point of our natural protection? That's true. However, you need to have the ability to do so. I'll take this as a compliment. Sima Yuyue said. Alliance Master Xue, about that mysterious force, how's your investigation? The progress in the first 2 years was more difficult. These 2 years are still okay. We've already followed the clues and uprooted several strongholds. We've also found some forces that are related to them. Xue Changlin said. Oh. What kind of forces are they? The ones we found aren't very strong. However, they are very rich forces. Xue Changlin said. Hence, we're guessing that they are the forces that provide them with financial support. Either they rely on them or they have their own forces. However, we haven't come to a conclusion yet. In order to follow the clues, we haven't alerted them yet. In the past 2 years, more and more forces have been destroyed. Battles can be seen everywhere. This world is getting more and more chaotic. Fang Ming sighed. No matter what, those people have targeted us. They have to be prepared for our revenge. Sima Yue said. Once we're done here, we'll join in the investigation of the mysterious force. If it was the previous Heartbreak Valley, she might not have been so bold. However, after fusing with 2 blind Paramount Valley, even the inner regions didn't dare to underestimate their strength. All right. You guys follow this mysterious force and investigate. We'll continue to investigate this force. When the time comes, we'll definitely find some information. We want to see what those people want to do. He Chendong thought about the commotion caused by those people during his succession ceremony. He was furious. Oh right, Yue, I heard that you're related to the mythical dragon sect. Is that true? I've taught their sect leader's daughter. One of their divine envoys is my senior brother. Sima Yue nodded. She didn't know why they would suddenly mention the mythical dragon sect. She asked, what happened to the mythical dragon sect? A year ago, the mythical dragon sect was destroyed. Xia Chang Tian said. What? Sima Yue was shocked. She suddenly thought of the Sky Splitter Devil Sword. If the mythical dragon sect was destroyed, then where was the Devil Sword now? Shi Qiu Shuang, Shi Qianji and Jiang Jun Xian. How were they? Chapter 1400. What do you mean? Do you want us all to go down and die? Someone roared. This person was also the one who had scolded Sima Yue before. Now that he heard that she still wanted them to leave, he immediately jumped up and scolded her. Sima Yue dug her ears and said, What are you yelling about? My ears are hurting from all that noise. Tell me, what are your Sea family's intentions? Are you targeting us on purpose? Another person who had scolded Sima Yue asked. Against you? Si Kong sneered. Yes, against you. What can you do about it? Master Si, you're looking down on the Zhang family too much. You don't care about what happens here because of personal grudges? Aren't you afraid of causing opposition from the people in the city? Speaking of who didn't put the other in their eyes, wasn't it your Zhang family who started it first? See, you said, when you were scolding my little sister, why didn't you say that your family was targeting us? Humph, my father is right. I am targeting you now. What can you do about it? If you insist on saying that it was because of personal grudges, the people in the city would say that it was because of you. It's obvious that you guys only need to go down and try, but you guys refuse. Aren't you the ones who are wasting time? Si family's third brother said. Hurry up. Meng Sha's face became even more gloomy. He stared at the Zhang family members with eyes as sharp as knives. But they still stood there motionless. Zhang Hu had died just now. How could they go down? Zhang Hao didn't force them any further. After all, they had already lost 2 experts. If they lost any more, even the Zhang clan wouldn't be able to bear it. Seeing that they didn't understand, Meng Sha's figure disappeared from where he stood. Almost at the same time, he appeared behind the 2 people who had spoken just now. Before anyone could react, the 2 people had already been thrown down. Meng Sha. Although Zhang Hao's strength was slightly higher than Meng Sha's, he was still inferior in this aspect. He could only watch as Meng Sha was thrown down. If you want to stall for time and wait for that thing to counterattack, you can guard the south of the city alone. In any case, I believe that the little girl said to wait until the entire southern part of the city is covered before making a move. We will be fine. After Meng Sha finished speaking with a cold face, he returned to his previous position. Zhang Hao was angered until his face turned green. But seeing that the other 3 people's expressions were not good, he did not dare to say anything. Since everyone has gone down, let's hurry up and try. Although Luo Qi was the biggest, his temper was actually the best among the four. But even so, he was very impatient. Every time the Zhang family didn't stir up some trouble, they would feel uncomfortable. At first, the two of them were worried that the black fog would spread and turn them into two skeletons, just like the two skeletons at their feet. Hurry up and start. Wu Man also urged, remember, don't use spiritual energy anymore. If he couldn't use his spiritual energy, how could he deal with that thing? But if he used his spiritual power, that thing would come over even more. Still not attacking? Meng Sha's voice was filled with killing intent. If the other party did not attack, then he would attack. You don't need to use your spiritual energy. Just shout like Little Black did just now. Hurry up, patience is a thing that will run out eventually. After playing for so long, Sima Yuyue was also a little annoyed. If the Zhang family did not attack, then she really would not attack. Everyone could hear the displeasure in Sima Yuyue's words. They were afraid that she would really leave, so their gazes towards the Zhang family became unfriendly. At this time, Zhang Hao did not say anything. No one knew if he was too angry to say anything, or if he silently agreed with Sima Yuyue's actions. Hurry up. What are you waiting for? Can you bear the responsibility if something happens? Isn't that right? Your Zhang family is so powerful, hurry up. The surrounding people who were watching the show all shouted. Although they were far away, the people inside could still hear them. Especially those who were not from the south of the city. They were not so afraid of the Zhang family and shouted even louder. Look at everyone's enthusiasm. You guys are the people's hope. Hurry up. Siyu laughed evilly. The Zhang family's faces were very ugly. But since it was already like this, they couldn't delay any longer. Otherwise, people would say that they were not willing to help the city. Let's try. Zhang Hao finally couldn't take the pressure and ordered. No matter how unwilling the two people below were, they had to do it now. But when they thought about barking like a dog, they couldn't do it. In the end, the sound they made was even softer than a mosquito's wings. How can we scare that thing away with such a soft sound? This time, it wasn't the Si family who spoke. Sima Yuyue glanced at the people behind Meng Sha. They should be from the east of the city. Woof woof woof, the two people had no choice but to bark twice. Then, they turned around and flew back without caring whether it was useful or not. And that black fog was still in the same place. It didn't retreat at all. Of course, it wouldn't retreat. Not everyone was as powerful as Little Black. This was the result that everyone expected, so no one was disappointed. Looks like these two people can't do it either. Let's change to the next wave. Siyu said. The rest of the people couldn't avoid it. Luckily, these two people came up safely. At least, it meant that their lives weren't in danger. In the end, they all went down one by one to bark like a dog. Are you satisfied now? Zhang Hao looked at Sima Yuyu. At this moment, his anger was contained. But his tone still betrayed him. Sigh, I've rested enough. Godfather, I'll go down and continue with my work. Sima Yuyue didn't even bother to look at Zhang Hao. She said to Si Kong and the rest and flew down with Little Black in her arms. Si Kong didn't expect Sima Yuyue to remember to tell him that. Although it was their first time meeting, she left a good impression on him. She had the style of his family. If Sima Yuyue knew what he thought, she would probably roll her eyes in her heart. She was much better than them. They were a family of bad people. When those people saw that Sima Yuyue was willing to take action, their anxious hearts calmed down by half. Their instincts told them that as long as she was willing to take action, this matter wouldn't be a problem. They saw Sima Yuyue carrying Little Black to the square. When the black fog saw them, it retreated a little. Although it was only a few centimeters away, to those onlookers, this little bit of distance was hope. Sima Yuyue looked at the distance and said, "Are you going back by yourself? Or do you want us to chase you back? Don't go too far." They didn't expect that thing to speak. This person needs to know his own limits, okay? Sima Yuyue caressed Little Black. Do you think that if you go back today, there will be a second result? The black fog moved even more violently, but it didn't dare to get close to Sima Yuyue. Sima Yuyue was too lazy to talk nonsense. She raised Little Black in her hands and threw it at the black fog. This book came from Chapter 1401. The others were shocked by Sima Yuyue's actions. Would Blackie also be turned into a pile of bones by the black fog? However, everyone soon realized that when Little Black fell from the barrier, the black fog took the initiative to avoid it. Please search to see the most complete. Update the fastest. It was the same this time. Wherever Little Black landed, the black fog would scatter. Xiao He seemed to be unhappy that Sima Yuyue had thrown it at him, and it was furious. However, it could not vent its anger on Yuyue, so it could only vent its anger on the black fog. It arched its back, and all the hair on its body stood up. It growled at the black fog, as if it was preparing to attack. That aura was several times heavier than when it was chased back. Just now, that thing already couldn't take it anymore. Now, it was even worse. Sima Yuyue didn't have to say anything as it quietly retreated. Just now, so many people went down to try but failed. Sima Yuyue and the rest went down and did it in 2 minutes. Needless to say, they knew who saved the lives of these people in the city. Wu Man and the rest had been staring at the black fog ever since Sima Yuyue went down. Now that all the black fog had retreated, they heaved a sigh of relief. However, they weren't completely at ease. Although this thing had returned, it was still churning in the pool. If he didn't reseal it, it would rebound as long as Little Black wasn't around. The seal on the pool had already been destroyed by it. Now that there was nothing to restrain it, it could get up at any time. Wu Man and the other 3 flew down and stood at the 4 corners of the pool. Wu Man happened to be beside Sima Yuyue. We're finally back. Thank you, little girl. Luo Qi was the first to speak. Sima Yuyue did not expect anyone to thank her. She nodded and said, "You're too kind. Don't call me manager. Since you're the Si family's daughter, just call me Uncle Luo like Siyu." Luo Qi said, "Oh right, I still don't know what your name is?" Sima Yuyue was startled. She heard Siyu say that there was no one with the surname Sima. If she said her name, wouldn't it attract attention? I'm Si Qin. She used Siyu's fake name. So your surname is Si too? Luo Qi said. Sima Yuyue nodded. The first word, Sima, was also Si. Alright, let's think about what should we do next. Zhang Hao said. What else can we do? We can only think of a way to seal it. Meng Sha said. Editor Endless Fantasy Translation. Of it, even if it's useless, we still have to think of a way. Wu Man said, we can't let them keep guarding here, right? Why not? Zhang said, Sima Yuyue. Yuyue said, Sima of Sima Yuyin, of Sima Yuyue, Yuyue, naturally, Yuyue. No. Wu Man directly refused. Yuyue. Extreme times call for extreme measures. It's not like we're asking her to guard here forever. Zhang Hao said. If Manager Zhang is willing to stay here with me, I don't mind waiting here for a few days. Sima Yuyue said, Manager Zhang, are you willing? I have to manage all the affairs in the South City. Where would I find the time to waste here with you? Zhang Hao replied without thinking. Oh, you don't have to guard here if you have something to do. Sima Yuyue purposely dragged her words, since you're talking about it, I have something to do too. Then I won't be guarding here. What could you possibly have? Of course it's something important. Sima Yuyue said, why, Manager Zhang can be busy, but can't us commoners do the same? I don't have any power over it and I'm useless here. Of course I have to do something. Who said that those with power have to guard here? What benefits did you give me? Did you give me your position? Sima Yue said coldly, I'll give you 2 days at most. If you can't think of a solution, then stay here with me. From Sima Yue's point of view, these people were not to be trifled with. 2 days was enough for them to come up with a solution. However, she didn't expect everyone to be in a difficult position. Even Wu Man frowned. Sima Yue understood that this solution was really hard to come up with. However, this had nothing to do with her. She didn't need to worry about it. She had only been here for 3 to 4 days. She hadn't even figured out the situation yet, and she had already encountered such a situation. She didn't even know what this thing was or where it came from. Moreover, she did want to help before. After all, Ghost City had settled down so that she could find her father. However, her good intentions were all destroyed by those arrogant fellows from the Zhang family. After that, Sima Yue took out a chair and sat at the side. At this moment, she thought of Mu Si. It had already been more than a day. Mu Si definitely hadn't eaten. It was fine if they didn't eat for a day, but Mu Si hadn't eaten for a day and 2 nights. She looked around and didn't see Mu Si. She frowned and asked Siyu, where's Mu Si? Siyu looked back. Because there were many people, Black Phoenix was flying behind the crowd with Mu Si. He's here. Bring him down. Siyu didn't know what Sima Yue wanted to do, but she still obediently brought Mu Si down. The moment Mu Si landed, he grabbed Sima Yue's clothes and asked nervously, are you okay? I'm fine. Didn't you see it from up there? Sima Yue smiled at him, you haven't eaten for a day. Are you hungry? Mu Si didn't expect her to remember that he hadn't eaten. He was so touched that his nose turned sour. But he still shook his head and said, I'm not hungry. But his stomach didn't cooperate and exposed him. Actually, he really wasn't hungry before. Faced with such a situation, he was worried about Sima Yue. He was so nervous that he didn't even think about being hungry. But now that Sima Yue was fine and he heard her mention this, he naturally felt hungry. Oh right, I forgot that Mu Si still needs to eat. Siyu patted Mu Si's shoulder apologetically. Since you're hungry, wait at the side. I'll make you something to eat. Sima Yue said as she took out her cooking tools. Once Xiao He saw Sima Yue taking out those things, his eyes lit up and he barked. Xiao He, you've worked hard this time. I'll make you some bones later. Sima Yue said with a smile. Xiao He thought about it. It seemed that the dogs in the space liked bones the most. So it should like bones too. With that thought, it wagged its tail happily and even stuck out its tongue like a dog. Sima Yue pursed her lips. This guy really thought of himself as a dog. This book came from. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.